Hi, everybody. Welcome to your Wake and Bake News at 7 p.m. I'm your host, Moxie. Uh, and thanks so much for tuning in. What is the title? What is this? Get the latest. Why the fuck? Oh my god. I really dislike YouTube. Have I mentioned that I really dislike YouTube? So have you guys had enough of the COVID-19 yet, or you want more? I'm good either way. So I have prepared 10 clips. I can't even see what the fuck is going on. Fucking YouTube. Fucking hate YouTube. Sorry, Craig, go ahead. So what was I saying? I got a dab ready. Oh, I am making fire. Not yet. I'm this close to making fire. I'm gonna make fire any day now. I'm gonna start making fire. Any day now. I'm gonna start making fire. So, this politicizing the COVID-19 thing is something you're going to hear a lot about the next few days. Probably this week they're going to talk about it, you know. And the truth is that the politicizing, it never stops. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the issue is. It doesn't matter if it's sex trafficking. It doesn't matter if it's the war on drugs. I mean, actually it does, because these fucking cunts, they don't care about your freedom. If it's anything to do with your freedom, then there's no real politicizing. It's just, oh yeah, let's take their freedom away. You know, there's no arguing, no debate. Yeah, let's take their freedom. They don't need that freedom. How the hell did they get that freedom anyways, right? So, you know, this is what I see happening. And I think it's important that we pay attention to that in particular because, you know, the freedom thing has always been what Mox News is about. And I just see this, like, I played that clip Friday night of the person who did the COVID-19 prank or whatever, and she got arrested because she was, like, coughing at the grocery store. And it was like she was filming herself or something, and she was like, but, you know, they charged her with terroristic threats, okay? So you want to be really careful right now. The police state is, they are unbound, okay? It may seem like, oh, no, we're not. And you're going to hear, the police aren't arresting people for this, and they're not, you know, worried about that anymore. But the truth is, you know, it's, the truth is that they're not bound by the rules either. So you have to be very careful right now. Please be very careful when dealing with the police. Terroristic threats for doing a prank. Let's see, where are we going? Hello, caller.
Mike, it's Joe. How are you?
Hey, Joe. I am good. How are you? It's good to hear from you. Thanks so much for calling.
Back at you, bud. Hey, man. These are difficult times, man. This is I get the COVID scare, but I also get like the inadequacy in the response due to this. Are they exploiting it? Yeah, they are. Are we vulnerable? Yeah, we are.
How are we vulnerable?
And
I mean, what you have to be more. You have to elaborate more so we are all on the same page about what you're saying.
what? We've been speaking 30 seconds. I thought you could get like a big gist of what I was saying.
Go ahead.
No, just kidding. Just kidding. I mean, you're vulnerable when you're stuck with the ACA, and it's the best that Trump Care is. The best that Trump Care is ACA. They didn't do anything.
I think the for-profit healthcare system makes us all very vulnerable. I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Number one, and I mean, we've already seen $35,000 bills being handed out to people. So, hospitals are ready to go under. Point number two is everybody's a socialist now. All these Trump-ass Republican, fake capitalist, bitch-ass, wannabe capitalist, fall on your sword. You should have been dead a long time ago. And you know what? You're all a bunch of welfare Cadillac driving queens right now. And that's the fact of the matter. Libertarian capitalism is dead as we know it. And everybody's got a handout right now. And everybody's going back to their fat, ugly wife. And they have to show up.
Baby,
I lost money at the casino. Baby, I'm broke. Baby, I know. You know what? This is what's happening right now, Mike. And you know it.
Yeah, but I mean, this fat, ugly wife thing is unnecessary. I mean, you know what I mean? It's
The what?
Fat, ugly wife
No, that's
thing.
the fat, ugly wife. They tell you they are the big daddy driver of economics, and that, you know what, if you're like Bernie Sanders, you've never signed the front of a paycheck. You can't know dick squat. And you know what? At the end of the day, when capitalism falls on its little penis, and they don't acknowledge, for one, there's such a lack of understanding of what the fuck is going on with capital markets. Like, do you think it's 4 cell phone companies that constitutes capitalism? Get the fuck out of here, man. Do you think it's 4 big health insurance companies that comprise 90% of the markets? Get the fuck out of here. I don't got time for this bullshit. And these fucking punk-ass bitches are afforded every fucking, hey, I got drunk, my Ferrari has a flat tire, I need a bailout. Get the fuck out of here. That's what time it is, Mike.
Yeah, I hear you.
We need Medicare for all. And all these bitch-ass conservatives, call the fuck in. You got a 3-way? I will debate any one of those welfare, Cadillac driving welfare queens. Tell them to fucking call in here right now.
I hear you. I feel very similar. I don't have a problem. The problem for me with capitalism is that all the natural resources right at the beginning just go straight to the top 1% or less, 1/10%.
That's not capitalism. That's cronyism.
Right.
But I mean, capitalists aren't going to wait around. Oh, Mike's got a problem. He's identified what's happening.
Yeah.
Nobody comes and asks Mike, hey, Mike, you know what? You discovered that.
Right.
That's a discovery mechanism in capitalism. You figured that they should pay attention to it. But they don't. They're a bunch of cultist little fucking butt boys for Trump.
I look, it's understandable why people want someone that they can rally behind. They're desperate.
Whatever. That's not capitalism. That's jingoism.
I hear you. I'm not. Look, what I'm telling you is that they've been programmed. They're afraid. They're overworked, and they're looking for someone to guide them out of the shadow of the valley of death. Okay?
And they're dumb. And you know what?
And that's partially
that's warned Mike.
Okay, they're dumb.
You know what?
They're dumb. They're dumb by fucking design. They are dumb by design. They are dumb by design. It's and it's almost not even fair to put it on them. I get that they should be.
It is. No. I'll make the case. Those little fucking Republican butt boys have been afforded every single fucking opportunity. They never ever have to show up with the laws of capitalism that are, they would find them guilty in the law of reality. Because you know what? Again, Mike, Mox, they have been afforded every fucking opportunity. Bernie Sanders shows up and says, hey, you know what? We want to do Medicare for all. Now all of a sudden, Joe Biden's the fucking reality guy who's like, no, we're doing the ACA. It's going to leave 10 million people behind. In this type of atmosphere, that fucking dork can show up lightweight, talking like a lion, and bringing out a fucking mouse out of his pocket. That's what's going on here right now, Mike. You know it. I know it. Trump is the biggest chump of all. And I don't care about anybody who's been scared, this, that, or the other thing. They just got done demonizing socialists, Bernie Sanders. All of a sudden, they're the biggest fucking pink fucking commie that they've called everybody out for that charge who's not a weirdo Republican.
Right.
And you know what? I reserve my right to call their little fucking bullshit for what they've shown up and not brought to the table.
Right.
This is the weakness of what they identify as capital markets that they don't know the first fucking thing about.
Right.
They don't know the first fucking thing about capitalism.
Right. The very first chance they get, they make the bailouts and they make them as big as they possibly can, is what you're saying.
What a bunch of bitch-ass motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And you know what? Here's the deal, man. Fall on your sword. Be the fucking man that you say you are. Don't show up like some little fucking Cadillac welfare queen, you bunch of bitch-ass Republicans. Fucking listen to words. I mean what I'm saying. I'll wait right here. If any of those bitch-asses want to call in, tell them to fucking call in, Mike.
Yeah, I don't know that I don't think we can do a three-way call. That's something.
Too bad, because you know what? None of them bitch asses would call in. Bunch of welfare fucking queens. You know what? Step up to the pump. There's a bunch of people, a bunch of Americans that are going bankrupt because they ain't got money for insulin. They ain't got money to treat their cancers. Where are these motherfucking brave-ass bitches who want to start wars with Venezuela? Step the fuck up to the pump. Call in.
Yeah.
Tell me what the problem is. I'll tell you what. I'll call back. And these bitch asses want to debate. Dude, I want to debate. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I need to hear from these welfare Cadillac driving queens, Republicans, country club, bailout whores.
Got anybody who wants to debate him?
I don't know what you said.
We can try a three-way call. If
Okay.
does want to debate him.
Well, okay, Joe. So,
Bring it.
Yeah. So we can, if anybody wants to debate Joe, we can do a three-way call, or we can try and do a three-way call, according to Craig. So we
Put the call out to all welfare Republican, welfare Cadillac driving queens.
Because
it's not.
Yeah. Well, hey Joe, you're calling from Pennsylvania?
I'm calling from Arizona.
Arizona. So is it getting warm there?
It is.
Yeah.
It was, I want to say about 80 degrees today, maybe about 79. Pretty nice. Really sunny.
Right on. So, and are you not working right now?
No, I'm working. I work Monday through Friday.
Okay. A lot of people.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes, because we just got more lockdown orders from our Republican governor, who I agree with, where I'm like, great, a moment of sanity.
Yeah,
this is not normal.
It's better safe than sorry, for sure.
Yeah. Let's not dick around. I mean, I don't know if I heard it on your show or maybe one of your news clips or something, but it was how the 31 of the 35 people in that old folks home tested, because that one guy who had the wherewithal to try and have it detected took him like 2 weeks. And everybody's infected because we don't live like social distancing. We have never, like, Mox, we're somewhere around the same age. We have never lived under these conditions before. I have never experienced anything like this, but it doesn't mean that I didn't identify the vulnerabilities in our medical system.
Yeah.
And in our economic systems.
Joe.
And what it takes when you export all your fucking industry to China, because you got a bunch of butt boy Republicans and corporate little butt boy Democrats that are sitting there sucking everybody's dick because they throw enough money at them. And you know what? That's the fucking problem we got, is how much dick that these for-sale politicians that we've got have eaten. And now we eat because we fucking sold everything out. And we don't have, like, a great thing. Yeah, you want to combat the coronavirus? Go get a fucking job at the dollar store. Thanks a lot, you bitch.
Yeah. It's I hear what you're saying, man. I understand where you're coming from, and I see this giant giveaway to the corporations, to the people who say that we don't have enough to give to the people day after day after day, and so I understand. And if you've been around for years, for years I have been saying that healthcare is a matter of national security. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. And anybody wants to debate me on that right now, because it's the fucking truth.
The fuck in.
That's
You're
all
going to be going up
is.
against me and Mike. You're going to be going up against me and Mike. So you better fucking buckle up, buttercake.
This is what the facts are. Is that I've been saying for years and years, since before the 2016 election, way before, that healthcare is a matter of national security. I'm sure I was talking about it in 2008 when Obama was all, blah blah blah. I'm gonna fight for single payer healthcare. Fucking liar.
Absolutely. I mean, what a creep that guy is. He picks up fucking Mitt Romney's herpes-laden fucking barf from the Heritage Foundation and says, man, look at this. I am such a fucking centrist corporate Democrat. Watch me pick up Republican solutions to healthcare that are just a big gift. It's socialism for the insurance companies.
Absolutely.
Brutal, individual, ugly, Darwinian, survival of the fittest, rigged markets against all you schleps out there listening to Mox News right now.
And
that's what fucking time it is.
That's
and you know what? You guys know you're so naked and vulnerable. And if you don't step up for Medicare for all at a bare minimum, you're the biggest fucking moron that's walking around in a pair of shoes right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just obvious. Again, and this is what I for years, if not more than a decade now, I have been saying that, this is if one of these pandemics turns out to be the real deal, you guys know, I've said those exact words. If it was, then it would be so obvious that healthcare is a matter of national security, and when people can't go to the doctor and they're sick and people are dying, you're gonna see a whole lot of shit go crazy. Okay? So,
Mike, you're spot on.
Yeah.
Mike, you're spot on. And here, let me give you the latest example of something that none of you fucking morons are talking about. If you're a corporate Republican or a corporate Democrat, I'm talking to you bozos out there. Venezuela, they're drumming up fucking drug charges against Maduro.
Right.
And they're trying to go start up a war. It's because it's natural resources.
Yeah.
You fucking idiots out there who sign on to that. He's a dictator. Fuck off. You know what? This country is burning to hell, and you think we can start another fucking war over natural resources and send people fleeing from its country to cause migration? The same fucking thing that freaks out all you idiot Republicans out there? You see how it fucking happens? You morons? And I'm talking to you. And it costs national treasure. It costs national blood. MS-13 came from the United States, and they're fucking formulated and learned all their techniques and then exported back to South America and came back up here. Stop it. Stop the fucking chain of stupidity. Stop it. Stop the fucking stupid
it's not
racking up trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, and we ain't got no national treasure to pay for your fucking stupidity out there.
It's not stupidity. It's evil fucking doers that are programming people, okay? They're evil, and they fucking go, oh, look at this people.
They're corporatists.
Yeah, dude, I mean, they're beyond corporatists, dude. They're fucking killing people for a fucking penny. Okay, they're beyond corporatists. They're killing people for a shiny penny.
Dude, they ran out of bombs in Syria, okay? We dropped so many on there, we ran out of fucking bombs, okay?
Yeah.
Defense stocks are doing wonderful. You know what's not? Your fucking communities.
Yeah.
Your fucking child's health care. Your connection to this world economy that is a fucking farce. All your Dollar General Store jobs. Fuck off. You know what? Fuck off. And this is the problem that's going on out there. And all you fucking little bullshit butt boy Republicans and corporate Democrats, you can eat a bag of dicks. If you think you're going to pull out some fucking tricks and, like, undo this $1 trillion fucking, bailout for the people, you got a consumer problem. You don't have a corporate problem. That's why you only had one bailout, $2.2 trillion. Well, we had to do what we had to do.
Hey, Joe, we got another caller.
Joe,
hey, you take care, man.
No, he said he wants to try. Craig wants to try and bring him on third party.
We got Josh. Josh in Atlanta wants to talk to you, and I got to show Mike how to prep this.
I'll call you back.
No,
you got to stay on the line.
I'll call you back.
Just hang on.
Here's how this works. I have to keep you on the line and have Mike basically put you on hold, and there's going to be a brief delay because I got to run down to my booth and then come back up here and join the call. So he's going to put you on hold. You stay put, listen to the hold music, and we'll join the two calls together in just a minute, all right? Stay put, all right? Mike. Hang on. I'll grab the other call and put him through. This is Josh from Atlanta in just a second.
Josh from Atlanta. Craig is going to try and patch through a three-way call.
Go ahead and pick it up and answer it when it comes
that
through.
Joe from Arizona and Josh from Atlanta can have a little discussion. Is it ringing? I don't hear it ringing. We'll see. Oh, there it is. Hello, caller.
Hey, Max, how you doing?
Okay, how you? It's Josh.
Yeah.
Hey, Josh, how are you?
I'm hanging in there.
Right on, man. Thanks for calling. Okay, Craig's gonna try and patch these.
All right, we'll see if we can join these calls together. I don't see. I can't tell if we got He's on hold, so let me take a look. All right, we got both you guys there. Joe, you there?
Mike, can you hear me?
Joe, you are there. Josh, do we have you too?
Yep, I'm here.
All right, let's try and keep it so we're not talking over each other because it'll cause massive amounts of feedback over the air. But let's start with Josh. What do you want to say? And then, Joe, you can give him your argument. I'm going to get out of the studio and let you guys do your thing.
Hey, Josh, thanks for joining us. It's very nice for you to call. Okay, so how are you doing?
I'm hanging in there, man. I'm hanging in there. How about you?
I'm good.
You know, other caller seems to really not like Republicans. I'm not sure why. He seems to be full of a lot of hate. Seems to have given into the hate.
I don't think it's Republicans, honestly. But, yeah, he's very angry.
It is Republicans.
Is it Republicans? Okay. Because I think Democrats are the same thing.
Go ahead. And corporate Democrats, but to a much lighter degree.
Yeah.
Republicans lead the way. But go ahead. And I appreciate you calling in, by the way. I really appreciate you calling in.
Me too, Joe.
Well, yeah, no problem. One thing I would say is maybe you're not eating enough marijuana. Maybe it would have been better if your mom just swallowed you instead.
Well, he's trying to talk to you, Josh. I mean, if you want to debate something, I mean, if you have something to say to defend, I mean, you heard what he said. And if there's something that he said that's like, I get it. I mean, I hear a lot of, I hear a lot of language that isn't necessary. But he's trying to say that, we're getting fucked here by the politicians, and it'd be nice if they could actually show some care for the people. Josh, you still there? I think Josh hung up, Joe.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, man. That was the bitch that I'm talking about. He's not deep enough to go in. I didn't even respond because I didn't have to.
Yeah.
He never brought up an issue.
Yeah.
He's showing up identity politics and talking like little jokes my mom should have swallowed or something like that. I mean, wow, sick burn, dude. You know what? I'll talk to you, little bitch. Pull your pants up when you're done peeing and call back.
I hear you. I think that this is important, and we're all in the same boat right now. And I honestly, I don't think it's I don't think it's Republicans, Joe. I think it's
dude. No. Stop, Mike.
Yeah.
Defend the Republicans. Go ahead and defend it, because I'm about ready to throw an argument against that. And I'm not going to be light, dude. I'm not going to show up.
It's not
light. Go ahead.
It's not that I'm defending the Republicans. It's the Republicans.
No. You passively defended them.
I didn't.
Go ahead and take it.
It's the Republicans. It's not the Republicans. It's the Republicans and the Democrats. Okay,
Wait.
They're the ones.
Hold on, Mike.
They're the ones who have brought us to this moment in time in history, together, hand in hand, working hand in hand, with big smiles on their faces. And you know it's true.
Go ahead.
And you know it's true.
No. I don't know it's true, and I'll tell you why. Because you know what? It's been part of this where do you think neoliberal Democratic politics comes from?
Because
it comes from a bunch of disaffected Republican butt boys who have turned Democrat, who are third-way Bill Clinton Democrats. Defend that. That's my initial charge. I'll back it up when you're ready to defend what you're defending. It has to defend Bill Clinton. Go ahead, Mike.
It's so easy to prove that it's the Democrats and the Republicans. The Democrats under Obama had the White House, had the House of Representatives, had the Senate, could have made anything happen. Gun control, they could have done it. They did nothing. It's the Democrats could have they had the fucking Senate, they had the House, they had the White House. They could have given us fucking actual single-payer health care, and they chose to give a giant giveaway to the goddamn insurance companies. So yes, it's fucking Democrats and Republicans that have brought us to this moment right here in history, and you do know it.
I get it. Mike, let me breastfeed you some basic Democratic politics, okay? Let me lift my shirt and bare my tit for you. Ready? Here it goes. There's two forms of the Democratic Party. Most of them are corporate Democrats, but you know what? Half and half, more to half and half. Pardon me. Let me restate that. You have a lot of progressive wings that are fighting back against the corporate wing of the Democratic Party that lost 1,100 and some odd change of Democratic lawmakers over Barack Obama picking up Mitt Romney's health care. Okay? And that came from the Heritage Foundation. It wasn't fucking Medicare for all, Mike, and you know it. And if you can't make that distinction in the hold on. In the Democratic Party, you don't have you don't have a right to even talk about politics if you're not ready to make that distinction. You would be a greenhorn to just push this bland form of Democrats versus Republican. You have to be able to make that. You have to be able to cut meat like that, dude.
Versus Republican.
Go ahead.
It's Democrats working. It's not Democrats versus Republicans. It's Democrats working with Republicans to bring us to this moment in history.
No way.
Yes.
No!
It was Joe Biden. It was Joe Biden and Hillary. It was Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton. Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton. Joe Biden
together through a
Joe Biden.
Don't go to fucking
and Hillary Clinton.
These guys
Joe Biden,
Mike.
And Hillary Clinton.
Go ahead.
Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton worked hand in hand with George W. Bush to bring us into a war based on lies, where there was millions of people in the streets.
Absolutely.
Okay, so then the Democrats are working hand in hand with the fucking Republicans to bring us to this fucking moment in fucking history. Duh.
Absolutely.
You just got done saying no.
No, because there's two wings of the Democratic Party, you fucking Mike.
Yeah, and one of them doesn't matter at all, apparently.
Well, totally. Make the distinction when you start making the argument, Mike. Jesus fucking Christ.
Because if they don't matter, and they're not actually...
And the one that you like doesn't have power, Mike.
I don't like any of them. They all suck.
Well, good. Then go suck a Republican's dick, Mike. Because the fucking fact of the matter is, those guys been running the fucking show, and you sitting here baby coddling them, breastfeeding them. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
They run the show, Mike. It's a corporate fucking takeover of your democracy, Mike.
And it's been that since when?
What?
How long has it been a corporate takeover?
Well, Jesus, since 76, Vallejo,
okay.
When they said free speech is money.
Democrats
you
and
can
Republicans.
go pay your fucking cell phone
Democrats
with your speech.
And Republicans working hand in hand to bring us right to this moment.
If you can't do math and go from the Reagan Revolution,
you can't see the fucking obvious truth.
Handed you George Bush 2 terms. If you fucking care about it, you put up John fucking Kerry, not to Mike Marks. He can't tell the difference of what kind of Democrat shows up and fucking fights.
John Kerry.
And then you get Barack Obama.
John Kerry.
Two fucking terms of corporate Democrat politics.
John Kerry.
And you think it's probably liberal.
John Kerry.
You think it's progressive.
Fucking promised to make sure every vote counted after the 2000 debacle, and then fucking when Ohio people are still waiting in line to vote, fucking gives up the fucking concedes to George W. Bush. John Kerry is a giant fucking piece of shit. And he's in on the whole thing,
you know what?
man.
Draw a distinction. If you think that John Kerry is a representative of the left and what people want,
you brought up John Kerry. You brought up John Kerry. Hold on, Mike. You brought up John Kerry.
Go ahead, Mike. Take the floor. Go ahead.
You brought up John Kerry.
Go ahead.
You brought up John Kerry.
I did.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why he sucks dick. And why you've got to make it.
I just told you why he sucks dick. I just explained it to everybody.
Tell me why he sucks dick. Go ahead, Mike.
Because.
And then let me talk and not have you fucking yap over my shit.
Because he fucking threw the election in 2004.
Wow, he's a weak, suck dick Wall Street Democrat. Mike, wow,
just like all the other Democrats. Just like all of them. Okay, and you want to act like somehow the Democrats are there and they're fucking representing people. He's fucking the controlled opposition. Clearly, he is the controlled opposition. He fucking He could have taken down Hillary Clinton. He chose not to. He could have taken down Joe Biden. He chose not to. He made that decision.
You're a perfect candidate, but Mike, you know what? Listen, man, this is where you're running crazy right now. Mike, there is a platform. It is called Medicare for All. It's called taking your colleges back from Wall Street. It's called setting in place $15 minimum. It's called bringing your jobs back from fucking China and India and Mexico, bringing them back. But it's called, like, your elder care. It's called bring that back. It's called taking your fucking health care back from Wall Street that never delivered to you. It puts you in this position. You can't even get goddamn fucking dust masks right now, let alone hospital respirator rated face masks. We should be a nation of face masks. I thought capitalism and all their little fucking butt boys told me everything's going to be fine when the markets regulate and speak to these fucking needs. You know what I mean? And I'm telling you what, Mike, this is why I got a problem with your fucking brand of the Democrat that you defend and the one that I separate from you, and you call him controlled opposition, but he's night and day versus what you say Joe Biden is, John Kerry is, Hillary Clinton.
And he didn't make it fucking obvious. And he didn't make it fucking obvious.
Go ahead.
He didn't make it. He had the chance to fucking make it obvious about him and Hillary Clinton and chose not to. He had the chance to make it clear about him and Joe Biden and chose not to. That makes him the controlled opposition, doesn't it?
What the fuck ever? Put the shoe on the other foot now. Look at Joe Biden as protection. Go ahead. You got to yak more. Go ahead.
No, I said what I have to say.
Are you done? Okay, well then let me defend it. All right?
Defend what? Losing? You're going to defend losing?
Hold on.
Fucking Bernie Sanders stands up there and says, if I'm not elected, if I'm
the platform, Toots.
He said, if I'm not elected, the whole world is going to go to shit. I'm the only one up here who can save it. And instead of trying to save the fucking world and take down Joe Biden, he fucking let Joe Biden move forward. Okay? So he chose to let the world go over the edge. Fuck Bernie Sanders.
Good. And you know what? Speak to the platform, because the next guy will pick it up. And you know what, guys, your and my age have sat here and watched this world burn. We knew it. And you know what? We've been sucking fucking central fucking corporate dick for forever. And we never knew anything different. And until Bernie Sanders brought that platform, you didn't know the first fucking thing about what's happening. The fact of the matter is you know what? You are backing, like, you sit here and yak, and you don't know the fucking difference between that. That's your problem. But the problem we have is that Trump is not going to be contested in these ways. They're the big welfare fucking
you don't know the difference. You don't know the difference, okay? You can't fucking see. You can't see with your own eyes that Bernie Sanders has been up there for 40 years and accomplished diddly squat. Fucking just like the Republicans, just like the Democrats.
King. They don't look to Bernie Sanders.
Just like the Democrats. They do nothing. They act. He acts. You know why? He acts like the fucking. He acts like you have somebody who actually represents you and cares about what you think and thinks similar things to you. So you're not. This is what the controlled opposition does.
There's nothing controlled. If it was controlled opposition, they would bring him into the party. He would be Joe Biden's vice president.
Nope.
Okay? Because it wouldn't. They know that the controlled opposition, according to you fucking space nuts,
clearly,
that he could be controlled from a political level.
Obviously.
Okay, well, why don't they bring him in and coalesce around Joe Biden, his fucking wisdom, and the difference you can't detect from him to Bernie Sanders?
Yeah, because that would just be brilliant having two fucking 70-year-old white guys up there fucking...
Whatever, don't give me your ageism. I don't want to give a fuck about that. Because you know what?
Whatever.
Some of the smartest guys I've heard who've been very old. But number two, that's why a platform matters, you fucking Mike.
Okay.
Well, I mean, seriously, dude, you're showing up so weak, calling all bland Democrats as bland as your political explanation of what Democrats are. You couldn't be more wrong. A Democratic platform is a Democratic platform. Joe Biden has nothing. He doesn't bring dick to the table.
Right, and that's what the Democrats, that's what the fucking Democrats offer you. That's what the Democrats offer you. That's what they all that's what the Democrats all rally around is fucking Joe Biden, okay? So don't tell me
the Republicans, defend the Republicans. Defend 40 years of Reagan.
I'm not defending the Democrats. Why would I defend the Republicans?
No, because you're sitting there pit-feeding the fucking Republicans in a ghost measure. You're not sitting there naming them. But because the Republicans and your refusal to name them as fucking total Wall Street dick suckers, like Joe Biden is, and like Hillary Clinton is, like John Kerry is.
They're the same. Of course. I just said they're the same.
Hey, Mike.
They're the same.
Hey, Mike.
So how
nobody ever turns to Bernie Sanders. He's not like a sellout rich whore like Nancy Pelosi. He's not worth $100 million and has had to defend her wealth-making opportunity because she made $100 million, and Bernie Sanders never had to do that. There's a difference, Mike.
Okay.
Fucking wake the fuck up, man.
And he still won't fucking take down Hillary Clinton, and he still won't take down fucking Joe Biden.
The system, dude, the Biden Protection Squad, something I have a feeling you don't know a fucking thing about.
Or care
a fucking thing about. If you can't tell the same protection squad that came out and protected that fucking cunt versus Bernie Sanders, You don't even have a fucking business putting a newsman hat on.
Whatever, dude. I hear the truth is that you can have a protection squad all you fucking want. Bernie Sanders has one of the loudest microphones in the world when you're running for president. Okay, so
and you sit there and you can't tell the difference between corporate and Bernie Sanders grassroots. Fucking shame on you, Mox.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. I mean, whatever. Because you know what? You're in the same fucking shit barrel I am. And all these fucking little butt boy Republicans that you sit here and defend. Fucking shame on you.
Yeah, I do nothing but defend.
Shame the fuck on you,
nothing but defend the Republicans all day long.
You're sitting here protecting the fucking country club kid who's got a fucking flat tires on his fucking Ferrari. Shame on you.
Your personal bias blinds you, so you know.
No, your fucking blandness of democratic politics makes you guilty.
No.
If you're a newsman, you should know those differences. You should know the privilege versus those who don't have it, and know the math that happens
when you
have billions of dollars of coverage with Joe Biden and his protection squad, and you've got grassroots who doesn't have any fucking movement whatsoever comparative. You should know the difference, Mark.
The only difference between the Republicans and the Democrats is that they're talking to different suckers. That's the only difference.
Bland. Wow, thanks. Hey, you got some Kool-Aid, man, without sugar?
That's
what you're offering right now.
That's the only difference.
Bland Kool-Aid, dude. Bland Kool-Aid.
All right. Well,
you know what? Don't be.
Enough of being yelled at. And I apologize for hanging up so quickly, but I didn't want to be yelled at anymore. And it's because he refuses to hear anything that I'm saying. Of course, the Republicans and the Democrats are equally responsible for bringing us to where we are now. Okay, the Republicans started their fucking bullshit new project for a new American century under George W. Bush, and then the Democrats got on board and with Barack Obama pushed that same exact project just as far forward as they could. Okay, they're the fucking same. The exact fucking same. George W. Bush, Barack Obama, the exact fucking same. And I'm disgusted that they are. I'm disgusted that the Democrats are the same as the Republicans. The same fucking cunts who will forever spend your money on wars based on lies. Forever. And they know that the wars are based on lies, and they know that they kill women and children every single fucking day. And yet they continue to vote to keep those wars going forever. To keep those wars funded forever. To keep the Pentagon, which does nothing but cause destruction and death, funded at its peak rate forever. The exact fucking same. No difference. Now, let's play a fucking video, shall we? Oh, bats are back on sale in China. How about that? Bats are back on sale in China.
Well, we still don't know where the coronavirus came from originally in Wuhan, and anyone who tells you we're certain of that is lying to you. But many people believe it could have originated in the wet market in Wuhan. That's a place where consumers buy the meat of wild animals to eat, including bats. Wild animal wet markets have long been recognized as a major pandemic threat. As coronavirus spread, China announced it would crack down on them, obviously, but it looks like the crackdown didn't last long. According to the Daily Mail, across China, wet markets are reopening and selling the same animals they did before. In the city of Guilin, dogs and cats are both for sale as food. In Duangguan, a stand selling traditional Chinese medicines advertises things like lizards, scorpions, and yes, bats. Again, we have known for more than a decade that wet markets are a diseased time bomb. This is not the first virus to emanate from them. But it looks like even after a global crisis, China continues to threaten the rest of us with wet markets. Well, right now, the United States is by far the world's top funder of the World Health Organization. We give the organization about $58 million every year. That's double what any other country donates for some reason. But for the organization's leaders, there's only one country that matters, and it's not us. It's China. Right now, Taiwan is battling coronavirus, but they are denied membership in the World Health Organization. They can't even have observer status. Why is that? People are dying, but the World Health Organization refuses to protect them. Why do you think that is? Because China objects to anyone acknowledging that Taiwan is a nation. From the beginning, World Health Organization officials have praised China's response to coronavirus. They've repeated the country's lies as fact to the rest of the world. Initially, China claimed that the coronavirus could not be transmitted from person to person, even though doctors in Wuhan knew otherwise, and it was obviously untrue. The World Health Organization, though, told that lie to the world, and that hindered global preparation to contain the virus. They made it worse, not better. And then the World Health Organization praised China for its transparency, a cruel joke. As those lies have been exposed, the World Health Organization's subservience to their masters in Beijing has only become more obvious, more naked. On Saturday, a Hong Kong television station aired an interview with the World Health Organization assistant director called Bruce Aylward. He's a Canadian. We want to show you this whole thing. We hope you'll watch carefully because it tells you everything about where this world is going and why you should be really nervous about the government of China. Watch this.
Would the WHO consider Taiwan's membership? Hello?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I couldn't hear your question.
Okay, yeah. Let me repeat the question.
No, that's okay. Let's move to another one then.
Right, because I'm actually curious on talking about Taiwan as well, on Taiwan's case.
We decided to give Dr. Aylward another call to follow up.
And I just want to see if you can comment a bit on how Taiwan has done so far in terms of containing the virus.
Well, we've already talked about China, and when you look across all the different areas of China, they've actually all done quite a good job. So with that, I'd like to thank you very much for inviting us to participate, and good luck as you go forward with the battle in Hong Kong.
In the middle of a global pandemic, they're refusing to help a country because China told them not to. And then the World Health Organization, which represents all of us, which we pay for more than any other country, is boldly, without shame, repeating Chinese government propaganda. The man you just saw, Bruce Aylward, by the way, wasn't just caught in a bad moment over Skype. Here's another clip of him sucking up to the government of China.
To the people of Wuhan, it is recognized the world's in your debt, and when this disease finishes, hopefully we'll have a chance to thank the people of Wuhan for the role that they've played in it.
It's beyond disgusting. It's scary. Gordon Chang is the author of The Coming Collapse of China, and he joins us tonight. Gordon, you've been on this topic for such a long time. Does it surprise you that the World Health Organization, which normal people, me, look at and think, they're keeping the world safe from pandemics, that they're actually acting as a spokesman for the government of China? Does that surprise you?
Well, this has been going on for some time, Tucker, and there have been a number of other things that we've got to be concerned about. So it's not just Bruce Aylward, who, by the way, said that he had absolutely no reason to question China's numbers. It's also Dr. Tedros, who's the director general, in other words, the number one guy. In late January, Tedros gave an interview to China's state media saying that Beijing's response was admirable, should be emulated by the rest of the world. And then he said it all showed the superiority of China's socialist system. Well, China has a totalitarian system, and really what he was doing was attacking democracy on behalf of Beijing. So this is really despicable across the board.
I mean, this really matters. This isn't like NBA players kowtowing to the Chinese government. We're in the middle of a pandemic. This is the World Health Organization. Why is nobody... Where is Bill Gates, who's the single largest individual funder? Why isn't he saying anything? Why isn't Google saying anything? Why aren't our leaders saying anything about this?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This is dangerous because for the last 10 days of January and for the first 10, 15 days of February, the World Health Organization was parroting Beijing's line that no country should enact travel restrictions on China. And that's because there were no travel restrictions, or very few of them, the United States being an exception. What happened was this virus spread even farther around China's borders. So what the WHO has done was it actually helped spread the coronavirus around the world, and it did it on behalf of Beijing.
It's just beyond belief. It's hard to believe those words are true, but they are true. Gordon Chang, thank you for that.
Thank you, Tucker.
La 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 la. I was gonna heat up the bong. He said, no more doggy park, no more stuff, no activity. Craig says there's too much, everything's digitizing because we got too much activity going on. I don't know if that one's going to work or not. I wonder what the colors, let's do the colors. Let's see how the colors work. Where's my colors at? Funky colors. Ooh, funky colors. Let's see what that looks like. That's probably going to fuck everything up. Oh yeah, that's all digitized, huh? So we can do, that looks nice. That looks nice. Nice sunset. Okay, so I was gonna do a bong hit, but I need to heat up the bong first. So let me see what we have here for a short little video that it can heat up the bong on. Politicizing cop killed in Arizona. We'll do that one. Cop killed in Arizona.
First, here's what some of our Fox affiliates around the country are covering tonight. Fox 5 in New York, where a man who was among the 5 people stabbed during a Hanukkah celebration north of New York City has died. 3 months after that attack, the 72-year-old's funeral will be held today. Fox 10 in Phoenix, a police commander who was killed and 2 other officers wounded last night after they responded to calls of a dispute between roommates. A department officer told reporters the suspect refused to cooperate and shot the officers. The suspect was then killed on the scene. Fox 16 in Little Rock, Arkansas. Officials in Jonesboro are working to assess the damage caused by a Saturday night tornado there. At least 22 people were injured. No deaths reported, fortunately, so far. First, beyond our borders tonight, a North Korean official says that remarks made by Secretary of State Mike Pompeo make it clear that Washington has no intention of resuming nuclear talks. During a recent meeting of G7 foreign ministers, Pompeo called for the international community to apply more pressure on the North to give up its nuclear program. In a statement, Pyongyang warned it is now compelled to get payback on the U.S. We'll see where that goes. For the first time in history, the Olympics are being postponed. Past Olympics have been canceled due to war, but concerns over the coronavirus pandemic ultimately led to this decision. The opening ceremony, announced today for the Games, will be held on July 23rd, 2021, 1 day off from a one-year delay. The state finance minister of Germany's Hesse region has been found dead. Authorities say Thomas Schaefer appears to have killed himself. The state's governor suggested yesterday that Schaefer was in despair over the state's financial fallout from the coronavirus crisis. Meantime, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office says he will enter a self-quarantine after an aide tested positive for coronavirus. The office says Netanyahu has undergone a test and will remain in quarantine until he receives results or is cleared by the health ministry and his personal doctor. Just some.
And I have a clip from the Israeli news also as Israel goes into lockdown. I have just started recording the Israeli news. I just found it on the dial. I also have a clip from Newsmax channel, which I just found on our cable dial also, the Newsmax channel, which Steve Bannon has a show on the Newsmax channel. Although I don't think it's a daily show. It's Steve Bannon's War Room. But there's so I found a couple new channels to record. I'm recording those. I worked out the shit with Comcast, so they said that we can still record like 10 channels at a time and stuff. And so far they haven't dumped out any of my space. I have so much stuff on my DVR. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. All right, so I am just like this close. I put the timers on my tents last night, on my grow lights. I got the timers. I got them programmed. All I have to do now is mix my dirt and put it in the bags, and then I can start seeds. Actually, I have to hang one more light. I have a 5,000K light that I'm going to use for the seedlings. I don't know if that's the one that you should use for the mothers. Actually, I don't know that I'm going to take mothers, but I have just such a nice setup, almost ready to show you all. Can't wait. You're going to love it. And I have beautiful flowers picked out to grow for you over the next few months. So while we're sitting around trying to figure out what to do, I'm going to grow some pretty flowers. I'm making fire. This close. I'm this close to making fire. I'm making fire. And I'm so happy about that. So I thought that we would play another clip. You guys want to see that Israeli news? You want to see that? Israeli news? Or the Newsmax channel? Drive-through testing. Seattle Church Choir. Seattle Church Choir decided to get together and have a session, a practice session, and now like 10 of them have the COVID virus and 2 of them have died. Church choir. Yeah, so I guess we'll go ahead and play another video. Again, I think some of the best advice that I can give you, as Josh was saying to Joe, the first caller, and then Josh was the caller who came on, his original statement was, you're not eating enough marijuana. And I believe that is one thing that I can probably confidently say about Joe.
Sometimes life can be a little overwhelming. Sometimes the weight of the world can be too much to bear. Sometimes you need to stop worrying and take a deep breath. Sometimes you need cannabis. Introducing Brightside, high-quality cannabis delivered right to your door. Brightside offers an extensive menu of strains and products to meet your needs. Choose the experience you want, and we'll send you the dankest herb, the real sticky icky. Some top-shelf marijuana. If you like what we send you, keep the whole jar. We'll even include some nugs for you to blaze. As part of Discovery, you'll get to try new strains and products. Side effects may include euphoria, increased appetite, uncontrollable giggles, elevated sensitivity to musical dopeness, and reduced anxiety. Tetrahydrocannabinol may also induce feelings of existential well-being and relentless optimism. With a Brightside subscription, you can get it once a month, once a week, or whenever you want, all at a price you'll like. And yes, this is a real company.
Do you know who I am? You're the wizard.
Ask your doctor if cannabis is right for you. It probably is. Keep it Brightside.
So Craig was just pointing out to me that story about the Seattle choir. 45 members became ill, 28 tested positive, and 17 have not gotten tested, and 2 people have died. 2 people in their 80s have died. Craig's working to get the browser window back on. We're having a really hard time being able to pull up a browser window for whatever reason on the OBS now. He had to like reload everything a couple weeks ago, and he had to put in a new video card, and now since then we haven't been able to get the browser window to come up, but that's something that I really need to make happen, so he is working on it. Okay, so the title of the video is again about the politicization of COVID-19, and the reason that I bring this up is because over the weekend, I saw Donald Trump talking and was saying that he, at one of his press conferences, he was saying that he was talking about the Michigan governor, I believe it's Michigan, and the Washington state governor. And he was saying how they're not nice people, and that if it was up to him, that he wouldn't be helping them, and that he's told Mike Pence not to call them because they're not good people, because they don't show proper appreciation. Okay, I heard him say, I told him not to call them. And it's all about because they're not bowing down and saying Donald Trump is the greatest guy ever. And you know, in normal circumstances, I might not have a problem with it, but the truth is that now we are in dire circumstances, and Trump is acting like this thin-skinned fucking douche who because you know a governor has ruffled his feathers, he's not going to help the people of the state of which he is the top leader of the people of the state. He says, oh yeah, don't call those people. I don't want to help those people because they don't properly appreciate me. You know, if anybody's politicizing shit, you know, it's pretty obvious that it's Donald Trump, and he always has and always will. And unless you bow down and kiss his ass, you're not worthy of his help. And by you, I mean you, the people of your state, because your governor isn't kissing Donald Trump's ass. The people of your state are not worthy of Donald Trump's help.
Meantime, the president continues to feud with some Democratic governors, including the governor of Michigan. What can you tell us?
That's right. Well, we know that the president has repeatedly feuded with different Democratic governors who have been critical of the federal response or who have said that they are not getting exactly what they need to. The Democratic governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, the president yesterday said that she was in over her head, repeatedly critical of her. And he even said that the vice president, Mike Pence, should not call her as a result of that criticism. But we do know that this morning the vice president actually spoke with Governor Whitmer over the phone to announce that there would be this delivery of more than 100,000 N95 respirators. That was in contrast, of course, to what the president said just yesterday.
I tell him, I'm a different type of person. I say, Mike, don't call the governor of Washington. You're wasting your time with him. Don't call the woman in Michigan. Well, it doesn't make any difference what happens.
The governor of Washington?
No, you know what I say? If they don't treat you right, I don't call. He's a different type of person. He'll call quietly anyway, okay?
And those are comments very similar to what we've heard the president say before, which is that this should be a two-way road between the states and the federal government, suggesting that he needs these states, these governors, to actually praise him and praise his government's response in order to get the kind of federal support that they need. That is obviously a very different approach than the one that the vice president is taking, who is fielding all these calls from these governors, and really he is getting praise for the fact that he has been nonpartisan in the way that he's handled this coronavirus task force. Anna?
Jeremy Diamond at the White House. Thank you. More now on our breaking news. The first death of an infant with coronavirus reported in the United States. This news coming to us from the state of Illinois. Officials there announcing this child was less than a year old. That a full investigation is now underway. I want to go straight to CNN's Ryan Young. Ryan, what else can you tell us?
Really heartbreaking news. We learned this about an hour ago from state officials, basically saying this child had tested positive for the coronavirus. We're not sure exactly what the cause of death is right now. That investigation, of course, into this will have to take place. That child coming from the city of Chicago. We've been talking about Chicago being a hot spot for the last few days, and this is something that everyone's concerned about. In fact, when we talked to an ICU doctor today, one of the things he warned us about was the fact that so many younger people were coming into the hospital who were having some symptoms from the virus, and that's something they were concerned about. In fact, they were talking about sicker and sicker patients coming in, and they were having to use new techniques to make sure they could alleviate some of their pain. But this is the real concern, especially when you deal with an urban city the size of Chicago, the third largest city in America, when it comes to the potential spread of this. In fact, there have been several other clusters just outside the city. There was a church service that was held a few weeks ago where several people in that church service got sick. We also have the Cook County Jail, where you have several inmates who've started to get sick there as well. What they're concerned about is how quickly this spreads. They don't want it to spread throughout the city. They're worried about that curve. So there is a shelter in place. In fact, just the other day, we had a beautiful day here in Chicago, and people were out and about. That really angered the governor and the mayor, who basically came out and said, look, we're going to enforce these rules as quickly as possible to make sure that people stay inside so we can knock this curve down. But the focus right now, and I can tell you, your heart just goes out to that family that lost this child. That's what people will be thinking about until we figure out exactly the confirmation of this. You have to just feel the pain for that family that's going through this, that infant dying that we just learned about just a few hours ago.
Oh, it is such a tragedy. Ryan Young, thank you. And to our viewers who are parents, I know this probably has your, all of your hackles up, all the concerns up about your children being at risk now. And certainly I just spoke to a pediatrician about that concern, and he said we should all take this seriously. They're still seeing, the biggest risk is with the elderly, and that children by and large have been suffering more mild symptoms from this coronavirus, but it's not anything to mess with. But I just don't want anybody panicking at this moment.
Hey, we're back. Okay, so, and again, this is something you're going to hear a lot about over the next 10 days or so, would be my guess, is the politicization of the COVID-19. And it's nothing new. I mean, this is what they do with everything, but nothing ever gets done, and it's always just a giant corporate giveaway, instead of ever being about the people. So, just understand that when you hear people saying stuff like, I don't think he should be talking to that governor. Who the governor is in the middle of this COVID-19 outbreak. All of his people are or all of her people are in the middle of this COVID-19 outbreak. Everyone's terrified, and the leader who we're all turning to is saying, yeah, I don't want to fucking deal with those people in those states. Those states and those people don't matter. Don't even call them. Okay, don't forget that's who Trump is. Don't ever forget for 1 second. the most dire straits possible. And he's like, yeah, I don't like those people. Don't call them. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck Donald Trump forever. And it just solely, the reason he's like that is solely because he is this rich fucking douchebag who's never had to be accountable for a single fucking thing. So he doesn't know what it means to have to help other people, care about other people. I don't give a fuck. He's a quintessential New York douchebag that nobody ever wants to fucking have dinner with. And you know it's true. Aha! So, we got that clip done. I have more clips. I'll play more clips. You ready for more clips? I can play more clips. All right, so let's check out the Israeli news. This is the Israeli news. It's some of the most obvious, blatant propaganda I've ever seen. Not this particular news clip, but the news in general. The way that it's produced and formatted. It's really, I mean, it's like Fox News times 1,000. It's very odd. But I thought you might want to see clips from there. So, here we go.
We mentioned the rising rate of the coronavirus infection here in Israel. Now, reports show that ultra-Orthodox patients are making up at least 50% of that total. But the religious communities of Bnei Brak and Mir Shurim, we have seen some extremist elements there ignoring lockdown regulations. This is the Israeli Health Minister, Yaakov Litzman, reportedly is advising Netanyahu to put the city of Bnei Brak under lockdown. Health Ministry statistics show it has the second highest rate of infection after Jerusalem. The police now boosting their forces in these neighborhoods. And police foreign media spokesman Mickey Rosenfeld told us the measures they are taking there.
Today, our main emphasis was in and around two different areas of the country, Jerusalem's Mea Shearim area, the ultra-religious neighborhood. I was there myself, and you can see there is a tremendous amount of people in and around the different areas that were not at home. Our message has been to the public and is continuing to be to the public, stay at home. In Bnei Brak as well, where we also work today, a strong police presence, checking people, making sure that people are at home. We need to emphasize to the leaders of those communities that the virus is traveling fast and spreading quickly. We're seeing the numbers that have gone up, and therefore police are working both on the ground, inside those neighborhoods, as well as we use police helicopters and drones up above, covering as well, coordinating and getting the message out to the public, stay at home.
Well, our correspondent Jonathan Regev is in that city of Bnei Brak. And Jonathan, the new restrictions that were announced just about an hour ago, we're talking about no more group prayer services, no more group weddings, only up to 10 people for funerals. That is going to be a tough pill for that community there in Bnei Brak to swallow.
No more group nothing, basically, judging by what the Prime Minister said in that presser, which he did from home, as he was himself quarantined. And yes, it will be something difficult for the community here to swallow, but it seems as if the community itself is beginning to understand how difficult it is to have gatherings of more than 2 people because of the high numbers of people with coronavirus in the Orthodox community. Therefore, if we have seen in the last few days big gatherings within this community, maybe we should say, because we don't know, we'll have to see what happens tomorrow and the days to come, maybe they will now abide to of these new restrictions. The local leaders, the rabbis especially, the community leaders are having a major importance in the sense, because the communities here, they listen to the rabbis much more than they would listen to the instructions coming from the health ministry, even if that ministry, by the way, is headed by an ultra-Orthodox man, Yaakov Litzman. Still, it is the community leaders that will have to press the people to abide to these new regulations. We'll have to see in the days to come if this really happens.
And we'll have to see if one idea on the discussion, putting the entire city of Bnei Brak under lockdown. Is that even really feasible, Jonathan? I mean, under
I can tell you, Kalev, that coming...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
coming in here today, we've been out and around the country for the past 2 weeks reporting about the coronavirus. No one ever stopped us until today. At the entrance to the city of Bnei Brak, very close to the place where we are, I was stopped and I had to show the police my journalist card proving that I am a journalist working in an essential work, and that allowed me to get into the city. Other cars before me, the ones I saw before me, basically they had to leave because they were not allowed into the city.
Okay, so, and I am recording that particular news channel now 24/7. So it will be interesting to see what kind of stories we get from Gaza and the West Bank from there. So far I haven't seen a whole lot. But I thought that was it's interesting, and it's going to be added into the rotation, so I thought you guys might want to check it out. I think it's a good add into the rotation. I think it will be something we'll be able to work with. Even though it's blatant propaganda. But, you know, that's what the American news is the exact same thing. So, okay. So, I have a fucking tiger video. If anybody wants to see a fucking tiger video. I have drive-through testing. I have Seattle Church Choir. Again, and then I have a video from the Newsmax channel, which I have just found on the Comcast cable dial in the last few days. And I am also recording now the Newsmax channel 24/7. So I have a clip from there, which will be the first clip that we play of theirs tonight, ever. So that should be interesting. And like I was saying, Steve Bannon has a show on there. Sean Spicer has a show on there. It's kind of like Fox News on steroids a little bit. So we can take a look at that. And then I have another clip from Tucker about senators and the insider trading thing that they appear to have done after having a briefing on the coronavirus and selling and having a giant sell-off of their stocks. So that is probably important. I'm going to go ahead and play a clip. There are no callers. This is a call-in show. So thanks very much for tuning in.
The surge in cases, of course, is being seen across this country, not just in New York City. And tonight, what we're seeing and hearing from the front lines in California and from Chicago to Detroit to New Orleans. And the growing death toll for the healthcare workers. That well-known neurosurgeon we reported on there a moment ago, also the longtime ICU nurse, both dying from the coronavirus. And tonight, the shortages. Some hospitals remain in need of masks, those ventilators, now even Tylenol. And there is news coming in tonight on a church choir in Washington State who rehearsed many days ago. They thought they were keeping a safe distance. Tonight, at least 45 now sickened. At least 2 are reported dead. Here's ABC's Matt Guppin from California.
Tonight, the virus attacking frontline doctors and nurses. Miami ICU nurse Araceli Buendia Illegan, who treated thousands of patients over 3 decades, dying in recent days with alarming speed. She'd mentored her niece Joanna, also an ICU nurse, in England.
How do you feel going back to work? What does that make you think about?
Well, to be honest, I'm terrified for my life, because especially what happened to my aunt.
Dr. Arnold Weg believes he contracted the virus when a patient coughed on him.
My father is truly in the fight for his life.
Weg is a 63-year-old grandfather of 6 and a marathon runner. He's now in intensive care for the first time as a patient.
Yesterday was my parents' 38th wedding anniversary, and this is the first time they couldn't spend it together.
Hospitals now reporting drastic shortages of masks and protective gear. Doctors telling us they have a single mask assigned for an entire week. A national survey found 88% of cities do not have adequate supply of PPE.
I have nurses that call me on a daily basis to tell me that they're scared, to tell me they don't know what to do. We didn't sign up for this.
Mary McDonald recorded this video saying it's not just supplies, it's basic medication.
We're out of Tylenol. We're out of Tylenol. I don't know what I can do to save people anymore.
Tonight, California officials warning they're on the verge of a massive spike. The state has at least 5,700 cases and rising.
When the mayor says that he's seeing a surge in Los Angeles, where is that?
It's all over. So what's probably most concerning is the number of COVID-19 patients who need ICU admission doubled over the weekend.
But testing is slow. On average, it's taking 7 days to get results.
We have currently over 60,000 tests waiting for results.
One doctor on the front lines facing a cruel twist of fate. This moving image showing Arkansas medical resident Jared Burke's social distancing from his own 1-year-old son, Zeke. And then on Saturday, an EF3 tornado destroying his family's home.
It felt like the house lifted up and then slammed back down. I was saying, God, I'm not ready to die yet. And luckily, I guess he heard me because I'm still here.
And north of Seattle, the latest example of how infectious the virus can be. A choir meeting on March 10th for a rehearsal after the outbreak had started. They tried to practice social distancing and used hand sanitizer, but tonight, 45 of the 60 who attended are infected. At least 2 have died.
This is only going to lead to more questions about the droplets, those tiny, minuscule droplets in the air. And in the meantime, Matt Gutman with us live tonight. He's at a new testing site in Los Angeles, and Met officials there are now telling you they're ramping up the number of tests. They're trying to improve the speed of getting results.
That's right, David. Last week, the city of L.A. had 0 tests. This week, they're doing about 2,000 a day. Next week, they hope to get it up to 10,000 a day. Now, the medical director here told us that ramping up testing is pointless unless they can cut the lag time in results to about 24 hours. If people have to wait a week for results, they could be out in public spreading the virus. David.
Of course, we've heard of people waiting longer than a week, in fact, as well, Matt, thanks to you tonight. And we are across the South this evening as well, as cases now spike in the newest hotspots. And we took note today of what we heard from top White House advisor Dr. Deborah Birx, warning that no state will remain untouched. ABC's Marcus Moore tonight from New Orleans.
Tonight, for the first time since Hurricane Katrina, the New Orleans Convention Center transformed to deal with an unfolding catastrophe. And a usually vibrant city is bracing. This is the historic French Quarter tonight. It is shut down, and health officials fear that Mardi Gras, that brought thousands of people right here to Bourbon Street, may have helped to spread this highly contagious virus. Over the weekend, cases of COVID-19 in Louisiana soaring from roughly 2,700 on Friday to just over 4,000 today.
We still have an awful lot of work to do to try to flatten the curve.
But that didn't stop hundreds from flocking to Sunday services at Life Tabernacle Church outside Baton Rouge.
They were all spread out, probably 1,200 or so.
Some of the church's neighbors outraged.
We have a right too, man. Y'all need to shut that church down.
In Tampa, one megachurch pastor also defying stay-at-home orders.
People have gone totally crazy. As the president said, he wants to get everybody back worshiping God come Easter Sunday. That needs to happen.
But hours later, the president changed his tune, and tonight, that pastor under arrest.
His reckless disregard for human life put hundreds of people in his congregation at risk, and thousands of residents who may interact with them this week in danger.
And David, the governor here in Louisiana said it is grossly irresponsible to ignore the stay-at-home order, adding that those who do take the time of first responders, making it more likely this virus will spread. David.
All right, Marcus Moore live in New Orleans, where they're seeing this as well in really stark numbers. Marcus, thank you. And what about masks? If Americans have them, should they be wearing them? Would they help? Of course, the medical community doesn't want a run on masks, but what the scientists are now saying if you have one, and what President Trump said about this just moments ago. Steve Osunsami at the CDC in Atlanta tonight.
Health authorities in Asia, where the numbers of COVID-19 cases are improving, say that Americans have it all wrong with face masks. The head of the Chinese Center for Disease Control tells Science magazine that the big mistake in the U.S. and Europe is that people aren't wearing masks. Many people have asymptomatic or pre-symptomatic infections. If they are wearing face masks, they can prevent droplets that carry the virus from escaping and infecting others. They believe that even masks made of simple fabrics are helpful. Jeremy Howard, a research scientist at the University of San Francisco, has looked at data from South Korea, Hong Kong, and Taiwan.
And they all tell the same story.
which is that wearing a mask can decrease transmission by up to 50%.
In Geneva today, the World Health Organization came out and said the exact opposite.
We don't generally recommend the wearing of masks in public.
Dr. Anthony Fauci says part of the issue is supply, that if health workers weren't struggling with a shortage of masks, authorities might recommend them for everyone.
We're starting to re-examine the possibility that if there are enough masks, should everyone be wearing masks?
The president just spoke on this issue and says that he's open to this idea too, saying that his administration might recommend that all Americans wear masks all the time for a short period of time. David?
All right, Steve Osunsami on this issue of masks again tonight. Thank you, Steve.
All right, you guys. So this, if anyone is wondering, is a video of Elliott Bay Marina. This is about 10 days old. You can see there's no traffic in the marina. Not Elliott Bay Marina. That's the Puget Sound right there. But this all along the land right here is Elliott Bay. And this is, as we go along, that's Myrtle Edwards down there along the water. That's the grain terminal. But the shipping is just dead in Seattle. There's nobody coming in, nobody going out. And let's see. Yesterday, let's see. What do we got here? Hello, caller.
Show me the money. Show me the money.
What money?
Show me the money. I want the money.
What money?
I want the fucking money. I've been eating too much soup, Mike. I figured out how much I'm supposed to take per day.
Yeah?
Yeah, 1 bowl per day, not 2.
Well, you'll figure it out. It takes a minute to figure out how much soup you're supposed to eat.
Yeah, it's kind of fun for 24 hours till you figure it out. So I actually wore a mask, not a mask, but I wore a Palestinian kufiya around my face as I went to the store today.
Black and white?
Black and white with the little things on it, yeah. That's the only kind I got. I wish I had the green one or I like the green one, but yeah. So I'm taking my precautions. I just woke up, so if I sound weird, I just fucking woke up. I haven't had too much coffee yet. I got vitamins in front of me. There was a little 4-pack of toilet paper running down the aisle at Vaughn's. I fucking ran and jumped, tackled it, got that motherfucker. And then I got another motherfucker, and I gave it to the aisle. And this hot-looking chick, looks like Queen of Africa, says, you can only have one of those. Yeah, you can only buy a 4-pack. That's all they had, too. So, and at both Vaughn's and Circle K, they got like brand new plexiglass stuff.
Well, let me tell you something. That'll teach you not to self-check.
Self-check?
Yeah.
I wasn't self-checking.
That's what I'm saying. If you were self-checking, nobody would have told you blah, blah, blah. You can only have one of those.
Oh, yeah. Well, they don't even have to self-check it.
Oh.
I go to.
Oh, because it says like at the place where I go to get water, it says you can only have 3 waters, and I go through the self-check and I can get as many as I want.
Wow. Yeah, I've only seen self-check at like Home Depot and.
Oh, it's everywhere here. All the grocery stores have it here.
You know, I'm really worried about this fucking. About them trying to get rid of paper money, because we need our fucking paper money, man. So I don't want digital currency. You might as well just fucking shoot me in the head if you're gonna put digital currency out there, man. People should be fighting for that. We want our paper money. You know, Alexander Hamilton, Benjamin Franklin.
I'm sensing a theme here with you this evening.
You're sensing what?
A theme.
A theme?
Yeah, when you first called, you were like, I want my money! Give me my money! And now you're like, money. We gotta fight for our money.
That's from that Tom Hanks movie where he's like a football promoter or agent, you know. And
that's Tom Cruise, isn't it?
Yeah. What'd I say? Tom Hanks?
Yeah.
Let's see, who the fuck is Tom Hanks? Tom Hanks, the guy that talked to the soccer ball on that island, right? That's Tom Hanks.
Yeah, I never saw that movie.
So, yeah, I want my motherfucking money, man. They're gonna make me they're gonna shut down the whole fucking planet and sell my children's future and my children's future. I want some fucking money for that. So I'm gonna buy the gasoline's real cheap. I'm gonna buy I already got hundreds of empty bottles. I can just tear up some rags and, make wicks and fucking, I'm getting ready for the revolution, man. It's like, fuck this shit. And how come nobody can tell me, remember how when they had the anthrax scare after 2001, after the planes pretended to crash into the buildings, and then they had an anthrax scare, gave it to all the senators in these letters, and then somehow with anthrax
and the news people, senators and news people, and it was I think it was members of Congress, a couple members of the House of Representatives also. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, they could trace I guess anthrax is some kind of traceable genetic structure, but they could trace the genetic structure of the anthrax back to Fort Fuck Me in the Ass, Virginia, or something like that. And so they knew it was a government-issued anthrax, and that's how we all knew it was a scam. At least that's the story.
And that was the end of the fucking free press, in case anybody is wondering exactly when that happened. Go ahead.
Yeah, fuck. And now every outlet, both public and private and corporate in the world, is just mouthing the same fucking thing, and fake news. The fucking Trump's right. It's all fake news. Trump is fake. It's all fake news. But why can't they, how they identified that anthrax as coming from, I guess, a bioweapons lab, right? That would be a bioweapons lab.
Yeah.
How come they can't identify whether, to my satisfaction, whether or not this coronavirus has been engineered, man-made, or is a naturally occurring item in nature that some bat fucked a penguin, and now with the whole world that.
The answer to that question.
The answer is it doesn't fucking matter. There's goddamn bioweapons labs, and now.
Well, no, the answer to the question that you're asking, which is how come no one can identify where this came from or that it is a bioweapon, is because of what you linked there. You linked to the where are these manufacturing labs, and the reason no one's saying this is a manufactured weapon and it came from here is because again. The media is controlled, and the last thing they're going to talk about is, that the United States made this weapon and unleashed it on the world.
Well, goddamn, I think Italy sued China today. I just tuned in. Did you run that story?
No, I did not see that story.
Italy came out against China. In public, at least, not in some court, as committing war crimes against Italy, because they got so many deaths and somebody freaked out, and they some Italian, us Italians, we fucking wave our hands around and we'll fucking.
So Italy is saying that this is a bioweapon and that China unleashed it on the world?
I didn't hear the language, and I speak Spanish, but I don't speak Italian. I would not be able to translate if I saw the actual speaker. I read it on an article early in the morning. It must have been 10 o'clock. Some politician in Italy said China has committed war crimes. It's just rhetoric, It's like Trump saying it's a Chinese virus, but it's an Italian saying it, so he's going, Maccia fangula, fatta fangacino. So,
well, yeah, it makes it look like their government's doing something too.
Well, you gotta, I think Italy has
because so many
motherfucking-
people are dying there. You know, it has to look like the government's doing fucking something. You know.
Right. I mean, so Italy has the highest mortality rate, and I suppose there's reasons for that, but I'm not a fucking doctor, so
It's
I'm not
because
gonna get
they're
into
party people. Because they love to go out and party and dance and celebrate, and so they're all fucking touching each other and playing in the same rooms and stuff. So instead of them all kind of being locked down and quarantined, they fucking went out and partied and got it all over everybody.
Well, let's see. Japan is not doing quarantine. Their bars and sushi palaces are still open. Belarus is not doing quarantine. Their fucking sausage pastry party people are still doing their thing. I think it's Norway, but it might be Sweden and Norway. Still haven't implemented a lockdown. Brazil, up until a couple days ago, said their churches, we're going to recommend self-isolation and staying away from each other, except in churches, because God will protect us. So they, Bolsonaro, who is going to be self-immolating, and he is COVID-19 positive. He changed his mind after he got infected, and he got some big purple pus-filled warts on his dick from COVID-64 or whatever. Africa, you got, the African nation is asking $100 billion from, not the African nation, there is no African nation. The nations in Africa, or probably a coalition of nations, is asking the IMF, International Monetary Fund, for $100 billion for emergency measures. Any donkey with half a brain knows we fuck Africa worse than any other continent. So,
and not just us. Europe fucks them too.
Yeah, well, I'm including all the Atlantic countries, France, England.
Yeah.
Everybody fucks Africa.
Yeah.
Can't even get it right on the map. Africa is actually larger than Europe and Asia combined, but it looks really tiny on the map because of some geometric reason.
Yeah.
Transferring it onto paper or something. And the violence is going off the charts in at least 3 African countries. So, it'll be interesting to watch Norway, because that's a industrialized country, and they're doing the exact opposite of what all the other countries in the world are doing. It'll be interesting to watch Japan. But I do notice one thing that the Western countries are not doing that places like Japan and China are doing, and that's Japan and China have been wearing masks for fucking 20 years.
Yeah, but they don't do that because of germs, dude. They do that to protect their skin from getting darker. They like that fair skin, so they're protecting their skin. That's what I understand.
Who told you that, man? I mean, is that why Michael Jackson wore a mask? I think some of these Eastern countries are really respiratory sensitive countries, and by the way, their infection rates with this COVID-19 are way lower. So that's why I wore a fucking kufiya into Vons today, is because I'm learning. Okay, well, I don't want to wear a kufiya. I don't have a mask. I'm not going to go downstairs. I remember I had a box. I had fucking 40 masks, for sanding, and shit like that. But it probably got spiders in it, or it's wet from the rain or something. I'm not going to go looking through my tool shed for 14-year-old bucks a mask. So I wore a kufiya.
Yeah.
And I think, as uncool as it is, it's probably the way to put off your eventual infection, because everybody's going to get infected. The only reason we're taking all these precautions is to give our government, the United States of America, time to get their fucking grubby little hands on some fucking respirators and masks
and trillions of dollars.
And they already got the fucking trillions of dollars, Mike. I want the money. Show me the money. Show me the money. I want my fucking $1,200 fucking check. Fuck those guys, man. Fuck that. They're making me wear clothes I don't want to wear. Now it war's on now, baby. We'll see about that, Gavin Newsom. So I don't know, man. We're here be monsters. You ever seen those old maps? Here be monsters off the edge of the map, and we don't know where we are, and it's like we're close to the edge of the world, and this is a brand new fucking paradigm. I smoke, right? I smoke like a fucking chimney, so I got my vitamins right in front of me, vitamin C, vitamin D3, and some magnesium. Thank God we're in a Western country, because if you're in a country, I think Indonesia has a decent healthcare system, but if you're in like the Philippines or Africa or
Syria,
where?
Syria.
Well, I actually have friends on the ground in Syria right now. Ava Bartlett, a beautiful, beautiful lady, and those people, from what she says, they're doing pretty good. And
I hear that they're not. I hear they're not experiencing the COVID yet.
Right, and then in Lebanon, you have Palestinian refugee camps. They're going to get fucking hit hard. In the West Bank and Jordan, you got Palestinian refugee camps. They're going to get hit hard. They're already living in tent cities. The island of Lesbos is like fucking, they got like 100,000 people. They hardly got enough tents. And the Greeks are struggling,
Yeah, no, it's very hard. It's very hard there.
And these are, a lot of those countries are third world countries. They're going to get fucked. When I'm going to get sick and you're going to get sick, and thank God, Mike, if you got sensitive lungs, stay in your motherfucking house, man, and wait until they got some fucking killer 3-day remedy, and boom, you won't even miss the show. But we're all gonna get fucking sick, and it's not a fucking joke. And here I am. I'm a heavy duty smoker. I'm gonna have to cut down on my smoking and take care of my lungs and take my vitamins. And I wore a keffiyeh today into Vons, and they didn't have self-checkout. Otherwise, I would have stole all the motherfucking toilet paper! Michael! Where's Steve McClanahan?
Craig was mean to him, so he's hiding. He's pouting somewhere.
Oh, okay. Well, I just tuned in, so I don't know what you guys been doing, but that's your Seattle neighborhood from a drone behind you?
That's my good friend Sam's neighborhood in downtown Seattle. That's basically the view from his apartment.
Well, I overdid it on the fucking putting the butter in the soup, man. I think I'll put a half a fucking spoon in there next time. So I'm getting used to it.
You get the right amount. It's a little tricky. It's like I said, I take like a 1-inch by 1-inch square of brownies, I'm not fucking gobbling up big handfuls of brownies trying to fucking, you want to get it right, so.
Yeah, I think no matter whether it's a vitamin or a supplement or marijuana, when you take it in liquid form, it seems to absorb into your body at a better rate. Mm-hmm. And I'm literally drinking it, so that's a different kind of ingestion, But the same principle applies, You got to know how much you're taking, and you got to figure out your recipe, and so it's man, I'm like learning what it's like to walk around high on edible marijuana. And
it's nice, huh?
Yeah. As long as I can find my my level,
Yeah.
So I don't want, because I was fucking stoned until, God, like 1, 2 in the afternoon. Then after that, a couple hours later, I went to bed and I just woke up. And yeah, if I could stay at this level, where I'm not like goofy. I know it sounds goofy, but
well, you get used to it. See, you get used to it, and then it's just like you just you're not goofy. It's just like you're just a little bit of out of your element, and that's only because you're not quite used to it.
Yeah, and I'm yeah. I mean, it's a good thing.
Yeah, sounds like a great thing. I'm really glad to hear.
Yeah, I'm, mostly I'm just, I'm pretty much set up for my quarantine, man.
How's the garden going?
Oh, pretty good. I got about 40 plants that I'm turning into mothers, and I got, the rain down here put a kibosh on that, but they're about to go indoors within the 3 days, and I got all kinds of stuff going on. It's like I don't live with the smartest people, so I gotta tell them, hey, I don't want you bringing your motherfucking AIDS into my fucking house, motherfucker. So wash your fucking hands, wear a mask, don't go to your stupid fucking parties with the other retarded people. I'm going to be fucking, serving you a 3-day notice real soon, because in order to get my money from the government, I have to actually serve them a 3-day notice. I found that up.
Oh, is that right? So then they're like, but it's not that you want them to move. You're just letting them. You're just saying, hey, your rent's overdue, basically. Right?
Yeah. Well, they're doing the work on it. They're they're going to the county and figuring out what they have to do. And today she comes back with a 3-day notice. You got to sign this.
Cool.
So
no problem.
Yeah. Okay. I'll sign your 3-day notice as long as I want my money. Show me the money.
It sounds like it's headed your way, man.
We'll see. This is America, man, and nothing ever fucking happens unless the politicians say, okay. So, I mean, the world could literally end in a week. Who the fuck knows? Who was that? Was it a German politician committed suicide because he was the head of the some German economic institution, right? That was yesterday?
I didn't see that either.
Oh, no shit, man. Yeah. What have you been doing, Mike? Fuck, these are the stories that are going on.
On the weekends, I'm really, I'm not looking at the news on the weekends, I can tell you that. Or at least minimally.
Yeah, well, the German economic minister committed suicide over the weekend, and they're directly attributing it to stress or loss from the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, so
I'm pretty sure the suicide rate is going to go up.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm not committing suicide, but I recommend beating people with a stick if they fuck up your life. Just like in times of no plague, beat them with the stick if they fuck up your life. And never let the retard drive the bus. So if the fucking retard hops in the driver's seat, you gotta beat him with the stick to get him out of the fucking stick, and then you gotta get in there 6 feet away from him, get in their face, 6 feet away from him, and say, show me the money! I want the money! So, it's life's going on, and we're all going to get sick eventually. And my plan is to wait as long as possible until they... And then you got the problem of the goddamn vaccine, right? Which they're saying is a year away. So, good, because I want a fucking cure next week with this chloroquine or fucking, I don't know, some kind of fucking tea or, give me, something that's not, you don't have to inject into my fucking body. Give me some tea. And I'll sit down and with a cute nurse with a short skirt, I'll say, this going to help me, baby? She's going to say, yeah. She's going to help you, Michael. And I drink the tea and I say, thank you, and I'm done. No fever, no death, no suicide. I don't have to beat anybody with a stick. And I go home, I eat my marijuana soup, I grow my little garden, I try to take care of my brothers and sisters, but wear your motherfucking face mask. I mean, we might as well get used to it, because at least when we go out. In our own homes, fuck no. What are you going to do? Be afraid of your toaster? Don't touch your toaster. Don't touch your microwave. And then you got all the people speaking about microwaves. You know, this whole 5G thing is already been called by at least one scientist the dumbest thing in the history of the world. 5G, where we're going to take install billions of towers 100 yards apart so that we can have just smacking, smoking internet speed, right? Just smacking and smoking. The only problem is we're going to be microwaving our babies and our pets and our animals and our goldfish and our plants. The plants are going to be withering. The birds are going to be dying, falling out of the sky. They've already been falling out of the sky for a year or more now in different places. Coventry, England is one of those places. So, you know, if we survive the plague, I'm recommending everybody get a tractor. Get a fucking big-ass tractor. You go to Harry and Jim's big-ass tractor supply. Get the biggest-ass tractor that you can find and go. And as soon as those fucking 5G installers go home for the evening, get that tractor and fucking take out that fucking 5G tower. Take out every tower. Take out all the towers. It's like the J.R.R. Tolkien, the 2 towers. You know, everybody's got to take out at least 1 tower. You know, choose your side. I'm choosing the side against Sauron, you know, who's installing the fucking 5G towers. I'm against Sauron, and I got my fucking tractor, baby, and I want you to show me the money. I want my fucking money. I had too much soup, Mike. This is how I am when I first wake up. But these are serious issues. We're all going to get sick. So, I heard the news today, oh boy. You know, John Lennon, you know, the last time this happened wasn't 9/11. The last time this happened was World War II. And, you know, so just as World War II basically produced English rock and roll and the English blues movement, which eventually turned into the English invasion, where we got the Beatles and the Stones and the Who and the Trees and the Birds and the Bees. We got all those great English bands. This plague, which is going to kill, I'm sure you've heard already, 1 to 200,000 people, right? This plague is going to kill that many people, but it's also going to produce something, just like World War II produced English rock and roll.
Yeah.
And American rock and roll, by the way.
Well, you know, hard times produces the best art, you know. So
right.
Maybe we will get some great art out of this, for sure. That would be awesome.
But it also produces, you know, war and plague produces political movements and social movements. So, you know, I'm trying to look into history, into the future, and I can't see what's going to happen. I don't even know if I'm going to survive.
None of us do, dude, okay? You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, and the truth is you don't want to, okay? Because if you did, you might just kill yourself, okay? So
yeah, I know that much. I'm not going to kill myself. Yeah, I might get hit by a fucking bus crossing the street or something because the bus driver's freaking out. Some kid... you know, stuck him in the ass with a fucking sharp pen or something like that, and the bus driver smacked the kid, and he turned around and he runs me over, and I'm saying, show me the money! I want the money! So, I don't know. Nobody gets out alive. I'm going to die eventually. We're all going to die eventually. But I am on planet Earth. I'm a human on planet Earth, which spells hope, by the way, HOPE, human on planet Earth. So I'm going to do everything I can do to not get contaminated by this motherfucker, not contaminate anybody else with this motherfucker. And we're in a first world country, so they say. And I'm hoping that we can kick some fucking ass and at least peel the curtain back to see the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain when all this shit is over, or if we can do it now, because all the criticism Trump is receiving at this time, I'm watching him. I'm starting to watch the news, and I think he's doing an okay job, even though he talks like we're doing the best job and no one could do a better job, and all these creative people, and we're doing the best. We're the best. We have the best ideas, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine, cool, Mr. Narcissist, the orange narcissist. Very cool, thanks. I think you've really jumped on this shit, and but the political debauchery isn't going to go away. They're not going to let this crisis go to waste. They're going to try to whip out digital currency. They're going to try to whip out mandatory vaccines. They're going to ramp up the police state. And they haven't stopped bombing Yemen. They haven't stopped bombing other places in Africa. They haven't lifted the sanctions on Iran. They put out a $15 million bounty on, what's that motherfucker's, Hugo Chavez's boy in Venezuela. They put out a $15 million bounty on Maduro's head.
Yeah.
And it's anyone that has, it's just like an FBI warrant. Anyone that has information leading to the arrest of, they put that out on his head. So it's not like the debauchery is slowing down just because we're all hiding in our motherfucking houses and smoking weed and watching the TV. And, you got gamers out there. I don't play games, but I bet a lot of people are playing games. I think they slowed down the internet speed because they've got record amounts of people indoors now. So what do we do to help? I guess that's what I want to actually focus on. I'm trying to keep abreast of things so that I'm not.
It's like you said. Just stay in and don't contaminate yourself and don't contaminate others. That's what we can do. That's basically, unless you're a medical professional, basically that's what we can do. If you have neighbors that are elderly that you could help, that might be something you might want to check on them. But I think overall, like you said, just stay in and stay safe. Don't get sick and don't get other people sick.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying stay in. I go out every day. I take the dogs for a 2-hour walk. Because I love taking. That's what I do. Okay, and the dogs, the girl dog won't poop in the backyard, so she got to go have a walkie, and they're not happy if they don't get walkies, and as long as I can fucking have a breath, to go out and enjoy, the life when I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, I want to make sure and make that happen today.
True. Yeah, when you're out walking and you look in people's eyes, are you noticing an elevated level of fear or discomfort?
They fucking cross the street, dude. They cross the street. I mean, there was originally when they did this like shut-in thing, originally there was more people walking. Now there's not. Now those people are not walking anymore, and they're obviously way more afraid because they're literally crossing the street, when they see me a block away on the same side of the street.
Yeah. So they're good. It's the 60-yard rule, not the 6-foot rule. They're enforcing. It's self-enforcing.
Yeah.
So that's a danger. Is that we really don't want to become filled with fear because we're not going to be able to fight our government if we're filled with fear, and everybody's going to get a cold or no symptoms at all or a flu or worse symptoms, every motherfucker, me included. So I'm preparing for that. I'm going to put it off as long as possible, let all these beautiful, intelligent scientists figure out what to do, and I really, because look what happened, dude. You got that Italian minister yelling at China saying, "Fasta fangula, motherfucker!" And I want to do that to the guy that invented this motherfucking virus. I want to find out where the fucking virus came from, and I want to fucking put a broomstick up that guy's ass.
That's what I want to do to all the people working on projects like this. Okay, because it's not just one. There's a whole bunch of people around the world working on projects. Not only that, it's the people who fund the projects. Those are the real fucking evildoers. Because if you're funding that,
guys,
then
you can't fight those guys if you're afraid, Mike. That's my point.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. We're going to have to do something about this.
The main message I've given from day one of this whole event is don't be afraid. Okay?
Yeah, so I'm noticing, I live in the most new age city on planet Earth that I know of. And, I'm watching people thinking they can beat it with meditation. They say love and light. They say, oh, my tribe. They're all like, yeah, we have a wonderful community. And it's true that they're doing things to help the elderly. But since when did the fucking wussy-ass, pussy fucking New Age people ever go to Occupy Wall Street? They didn't. They stayed home and they meditated with their fucking crystals and their bullshit. Well, there's a war going on for America. And it's like, oh, it's all love and light. We have our crystals and our tarot cards. And it's like, no, that's not going to change the fucking world. It's like we got to educate and prepare to have a global social movement that hopefully will make Occupy Wall Street look like kindergarten. Because we were not organized and we didn't know what we wanted. And now, if somebody asks us, what do you want? I want the end of empire. And I want justice. And I want to tear the curtain off of the Wizard of Oz and shove a broom up his ass. That's the fucking what I want. And kill the Wicked Witch of the West while you're at it, motherfucker. But, so you can't loose a plague on planet Earth and then think you're going to cover it up with bullshit or more laws. Because if they can do it to us now and we don't do nothing, they're going to pull the same motherfucking trick over and over and over. Oklahoma City, 9/11. The 7/7 bombings in London, over and over and over. In Indonesia, they pulled off some shit, fake Al-Qaeda bombing. I mean, this is the new weapon of terror, and I ain't having it. You ain't going to poison me, and I don't want your 5G either. I'm going to get a fucking tractor or a bomb or my fucking heavy-duty metal saw and cut those motherfucking poles down, and I don't give a fuck about the police. Because, you just poisoned planet Earth with a bioweapon, bitch. And now I'm encouraging everybody, first get your money. But after that, don't take this shit anymore. The entire world is shut down probably from a bioweapon. I wish I was a scientist and I could look at that virus under an electron microscope and say, CO3.
Yeah. I hear you.
It's not a naturally occurring. But I don't have that. I don't have that ability, so I can't tell.
I hear you, Michael. I gotta go. I gotta take a break.
Okay, bro.
Okay, thanks a lot for calling. I'll talk to you soon. Stay safe.
Yeah, you too.
That's our buddy Michael from Southern California. And this is the clip from the Newsmax. This is another new news service that I think we'll be playing on a regular basis. So check it out.
And let's get you caught up on the latest on the virus across this country. This is according to Johns Hopkins University. There are over 153,000 cases in the United States, and more than 2,800 have passed away from the disease so far. And to put that in perspective, 25 to 55,000 people have died from the flu this season. We are nowhere near that point yet, my friends. Worldwide, the United States has the most confirmed cases, and I want to stress confirmed. Italy has over 100,000 as well. China has reported a few more coronavirus cases. That's after the communist nation stopped reporting them a few weeks ago. People in China tell Fox News that those numbers are likely far higher. China has also locked down their movie theaters once again after opening travel back up, leading some observers to wonder about a second wave of the virus that is hitting that country, or whether their first wave ever truly abated. Communists are liars, so we have no real way of knowing. Back to the United States. Our numbers surpassing the lies being told about China was all that leftists like Hillary Clinton needed to pounce. The twice-failed presidential candidate tweeted a callous and inhuman joke over the weekend. Here is the tweet. He did promise, quote, America first. That's in reference to President Trump's motto that led to her ultimate defeat. Let's look at that, folks. He did promise America first. What she's touting is that now America is surpassing coronavirus cases over in China. Of course, that's Hillary Clinton saying that she believes everything the communists say because, you know, communists, they tend to believe one another. And there's also this idea that President Trump is somehow responsible for the spread of the coronavirus into the United States, even though we know it was he who took the most immediate action as soon as he became aware of the threat by stopping travel between the genesis of this virus, which was in China, and the Democrats, for his trouble, called him a racist. And the Democrats aren't just telling disgusting jokes while Americans are suffering, getting sick and dying. After Speaker Pelosi delayed the coronavirus relief bill for a week, she had the gall to say that the Trump administration coronavirus response should be investigated. Watch.
When did the president know about this? And what did he know? What did he know and when did he know it? That's for an after-action review. But as the president fiddles, people are dying.
Absolutely disgraceful. Well, Nancy Pelosi, we know you knew about the extent of the coronavirus when you came in and you flew in and you torpedoed the relief bill. What did Nancy Pelosi know? And when did she know it? When she decided to scuttle that bill at the last minute to get a whole bunch of socialist wish list items added to it. As a reminder, here's some of that Democrat pork that was included in that bill. A new approval process for sunscreen and their ingredients, and free video conferencing for prison inmates, Democrat priorities, you know. That's on top of $25 million going to the Kennedy Center and $75 million apiece going to the arts and the humanities. Senator Lindsey Graham hit back against Speaker Pelosi's disgraceful comments yesterday morning on Fox. Watch.
Nancy Pelosi said she did jujitsu on this relief bill to get it where it needs to be. And this morning, this weekend, she is saying that the president is fiddling around while people are dying, Senator.
No, what she said, she's blaming the president of the United States for people dying because of the way he's led the country. That's the most shameful, disgusting statement by any politician in modern history. Let me tell you, we've seen the best of America from our citizens helping each other, delivering groceries, having special shopping hours for senior citizens. She's the first politician to blame another politician for people dying. This is the same Speaker of the House who held up the bill in the Senate for days because she wanted same-day voting. She wanted carbon neutrality for the airlines. She wanted $75 million for the endowment for the humanities and $25 million for the Kennedy Center. She is the one that held up the package in the Senate for days to get the Green New Deal put in a recovery package. So it's the most shameful, disgusting thing I've heard yet, and it needs to stop.
Senator Graham is right. That is vile and disgusting of the Democrats. Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, cut from the same communist cloth. But the whole idea that they need to stop. Senator Graham, why would they? You Republicans don't make it to their benefit to stop. You don't actually push back on them. You don't make them pay a price when these Democrats say completely outlandish things. You should. You should. Democrats should be getting a lot of pushback from Republicans, unified voices. But that's not happening right now. As we mentioned at the top of the show, it's not just Democrats in office. The left-wing extremists in the basket of biased press are doing their best to cast the president in the worst possible light. Chuck Todd of NBC News Meet the Press, in a softball interview with the former Vice President Joe Biden, tried to get the Democrat candidate for president to say that the president of the United States, Donald Trump, actually has blood on his hands. Watch this.
You know, your campaign put out in a critique of President Trump and says if he doesn't do these things, you know, he could cost lives. Do you think there is blood on the president's hands, considering the slow response, or is that too harsh of a criticism?
I think that's a little too harsh. I think what's happening is the failure to, as I watched a prelim to your show where someone said that used the phrase that the president just thinks out loud. He should stop thinking out loud and start thinking deeply.
Well, you should start thinking, period, Mr. Vice President. But look, kudos to Joe Biden for actually not taking the bait and having the self-respect to rise above that. Chuck Todd's question was offensive. It would be like your liberty-loving Latino here interviewing somebody and saying, hey, Chuck Todd, does he look like he beats his wife? Does he look like that to you? Isn't that a rather inappropriate question? Chuck Todd is supposed to be a journalist and ought to know better. Well, he doesn't know any better, and many believe he's not a journalist either. Meanwhile, more states are taking actions, I should say, to restrict travel. New York leads the country with 63,000 cases. It's the epicenter of the virus here in America. Florida is now in the top 5 with more than 5,300 cases. To that end, Governor Ron DeSantis issued an order for people in the southeastern portion of Florida, that includes Miami, to shelter in place until mid-May. While cutting down on social gatherings is a key part of slowing the spread of the virus, New York City's socialist mayor took things to another level. He warned that the city will shut down churches and synagogues permanently if people continued to violate the state's stay-at-home mandates by going to services. De Blasio promised to, quote, take additional action up to the point of fines and potentially closing those buildings permanently if worshipers did not comply. Folks, you know the left wing is hostile toward people of faith. This is one of those instances where, because of public health, they get to show their disdain with almost immunity. But I think Mr. de Blasio, by threatening to close religious institutions permanently in New York, he may have stepped too far. Coming up, we...
Did that video freeze? It looked like it froze up there. Anyways, let's see. Where were we? Okay. Seattle sunset. Craig, over the weekend, was listening to Alex Jones, and Alex Jones was saying that this virus attacks the lungs, and then it attacks the heart, and then it attacks the genitals, and then it attacks the brains. And he went on to talk about how he's not trying to spread fear, and that, you know, these things that he's saying are what make it clear that it's a weaponized virus, and again that he's not trying to spread fear, and that and of course that his herbal supplements have already been proven to contain all the elements you need in order to bolster your immune system to be able to fight off the coronavirus. But I'm not trying to scare you, and I'm not trying to get you to buy my boner pills, okay? So you know. And again, this is the one place that I've been coming from this whole time, is I'm not trying to scare you. Okay? I'm not here. I'm telling you, you're the top of the food chain. To be strong. We'll get through this. We always do. You know? So, again, I'm not spreading the fear. I'm not saying buy my boner pill, my herbal supplement, which I find fucking disgusting, in case you guys don't know it. Not that he sells a fucking boner. Buy my boner pill. I really do find it disgusting that Alex Jones fucking does that on a regular basis. But that you use this fear. It's one thing to sell an herbal supplement that you feel actually, might help people. I don't know. Fuck. It's not something I'm going to do, but it's another thing entirely to say, this virus attacks the lungs, and then it attacks the heart, and then it attacks the genitals, and then it attacks your brain, and my pills have been proven to fucking protect you from all of that. That's really fucking off the fucking charts disgusting, Alex, and you should be incredibly ashamed. And anyone who's, this thing, I'm not saying everyone's going to get this virus. Okay? I'm not saying anything like that. That's what the last caller was saying, Michael from Southern California. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying better safe than sorry. It's an easy phrase to use without going, fear, fear, fear. Better safe than sorry. And stay strong, and don't be afraid. So I don't know what's happening, but I better go check on Craig, because someone keeps calling downstairs and Craig is not picking it up. So I have to go check and see who's calling so that it can get picked. Oh, okay. Craig's on it. Wow. Meow, meow, meow. What's that?
I was out in the shop. Haven't called back. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. So whoever was calling, Craig's back in place to take calls now. He had to go out and work in the shop. He's got a couple computers on the bench. Guy never stops working, man. So, And otherwise, I have a couple of video clips to play, including I have a fucking tiger clip, because, I love the fucking tiger clip. Because, I don't see a fucking tiger. I don't watch a fucking tiger. There's no fucking tiger. Ah, fucking tiger! I don't know why that gives me so much pleasure. Hello, caller.
Hi, Mike. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, Chris from Olympia. I am doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay, considering the circumstances. Yeah, I'm doing fine. I had an interesting interaction this morning with of all people, my landlord.
Huh.
Who can imagine that, right? So I told you that this house I live in has been on the market since like October or something. And it's been a fear kind of looming over my head that my housing is just going to get cold right out from beneath me. And sure enough, the call came this morning, and I think it was the stimulus package on Friday that finally pushed the buyer over. So the house is in the process of being sold. She'll find out if their loan is approved in the next few days, and that will be a factor. But they want to repaint the house in the next month before they sell it. So I had to negotiate some kind of a agreement with her, because they just can't come in my house with a crew of painters in the time of coronavirus. So
yeah, well, I would definitely look that up. I agree. I think that you have probably a lot of rights right now, and they're going to have to work with you.
Exactly. So we spoke, and it was, it was fine. But it just kind of was interesting that, well, first of all, I usually pay rent on like the 28th or the 29th, and the bank was closed on Saturday. So I was going to pay rent, right? So I had this sum of money in my hand. And then sure enough, there was a stimulus package last week. And then the landlord calls. It's just very interesting how people who are interested in making money are so aware of everything. They're so on top of it at that particular moment that, they try to take advantage of every situation that comes to their favor. And anyway, it wasn't a surprise, but it was interesting.
Well, yeah, I know you've been talking about it for a while, so yeah. Sorry to hear about it.
I have a fallback. It's all good.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I wanted to send sympathies out to John Prine tonight, and John Prine is a folk singer from the early '70s. He still performs, and he's a great American songwriter. And he's in critical condition in an ICU unit right now in Nashville. So, one of his songs, I wanted to know if I could sing a couple of verses from one of his songs for you.
Sure.
I'll try to hold the phone a little bit. I know that my microphone isn't that great. But this song, because I would play it, but I don't think you want to hear it because of the copyright violations.
Yeah.
So I would just assume sing the song so that you can hear the lyrics that John Prine wrote in 1971. He wrote this song, in the Vietnam War. And the song was called Your Flag Decal Won't Get You Into Heaven Anymore. It goes like this. While digesting Reader's Digest in the back of a dirty bookstore, a plastic flag with gum on the back fell out on the floor. I picked it up, ran outside, slapped it on my window shield. And if I could see old Betsy Ross, I'd tell her how good I feel. But your flag decal won't get you into heaven anymore. They're already overcrowded from your dirty little war. Now, Jesus, don't like killing, no matter what the reasons for. And your flag decal won't get you into heaven anymore. Well, I went to the bank this morning, and the cashier said to me, if you join the Christmas club, we'll give you 10 of them flags for free. Well, I didn't mess around a bit. I took him up on what he said, and I stuck them stickers all over my car and one on my wife's forehead. But your flag decal won't get you into heaven anymore. They're already overcrowded from your dirty little war. Now, Jesus, don't like killing, no matter what the reasons for. And your flag decal won't get you into heaven anymore. So that was John Prine from 1971, Max.
Right on. Very cool. I like it.
I liked it too. He also wrote that song, Sam Stone, where Sam Stone comes home from the war and sticks a needle in his arm and becomes a heroin addict and then commits suicide. He wrote that song. And he wrote a lot of realistic songs about working class people as a folk artist. And he's very sick right now, and a lot of people, a lot of artists that have played music for him in hopes that he gets better. But I just wanted to note that. Another note was, did you know Bob Dylan released a new song this weekend?
Nuh-uh.
Okay. So he released a song this weekend. It's the first original piece of music that he's released in a very long time. And it's also the longest song that he ever released. The song was over 16 minutes and 57 seconds long. One song. And the song is called Murder Most Foul, Foul. And it's about the 1963 assassination of President John Kennedy.
Wow.
And it's a strange song. It's almost like
did he release a video? Do you know?
Yeah, he did. And the video is released at his YouTube site, Bob Dylan. If you go to Bob Dylan's YouTube site, it's called Murder So Foul, and it reminds me of, like, have you ever listened to, like, Lou Reed's spoken word music before?
Yeah.
Where, like, Lou Reed reads like an Edgar Allan Poe poem, and it's just Lou Reed speaking and reading the poem. That's really what this song reminded me of. It's Bob Dylan reading a very long poem about the John F. Kennedy assassination. Goes into great detail about where the shooters were and what the geopolitics or what the politics of America were, and then the last half of the song he talks about the cultural ramifications in the 60s and the 70s, and uses a lot of pop references to try and gauge the mood of America and how our innocence was lost as, you know, the president was killed right in front of our faces.
Yeah.
So I thought other people would appreciate that. That just happened this weekend, and a lot of people, and Bob Dylan's press agent issued like one sentence that basically said, like, Bob's not saying anything except for what you can see in the song and his story, something like that. And people were speculating about why he chose to release this song right now at this particular moment in time. Maybe to show us that we've been lied to, like with the bailout, or it's similar to 9/11, or like Kennedy assassination, we could be being played. You know, a lot of people are speculating, or maybe Trump is going to get his head blown off. Who knows? But I mean, a lot of people were speculating that Bob Dylan released the song this last weekend.
To talk about how evil the government is, obviously.
That as well. They controlled the whole program for a long time. I have so much weird coronavirus news, but the fear thing, you were talking a moment earlier about the fear. You always talk about the fear, and I do think you're right. The media is creating a lot of fear. I think some of the images are real. Like last night, I was talking about the bodies. Last Friday, I was talking about the bodies at the ice ring in Madrid, and photographers who are photographing military vehicles removing bodies from the morgue in Lombardy in northern Italy, because they have no other way to remove these bodies. They have to go someplace to be cremated. But the Daily News today in New York posted a story that said, and I'd encourage other readers to go and look at it, because there's a video link, and it says, "This is for real. Videos show bodies loaded into trucks outside coronavirus-struck New York City hospitals." And it's basically saying that a video shows covered bodies on gurneys sitting on the sidewalks in Brooklyn, while another shows body bags holding corpses being loaded into a trailer using a forklift outside of a different hospital. And then the man in the video, an African-American man, said, "This is real, y'all. This is for real." And he said it over and over again. "This is for real. This is for real. Right here in Brooklyn. Yo, this is for real." He said it like for 3 minutes as the lift was putting bodies in the back of this refrigerator truck. And then the rap artist Ice-T also released footage of bodies being loaded in a separate location into a refrigerated truck in Brooklyn. Not that it isn't true, right? Not that those things probably aren't true, but the fact that it's on the front page of the New York newspaper, I don't know. It's kind of exacerbating this feeling of fear.
Yeah, when I hear this specialist guy, Anthony Faustus or whatever his name is, and he's saying that the coronavirus is going to be here next year too. I mean, not the coronavirus, the COVID-19. And why don't we deal with what we got right now instead of spreading fear about it going to be here forever? Fucking assholes.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we probably at this point should play it day by day. You know, I have, like many other people, have been doing research, and I found a doctor on YouTube who gave a 20-minute video describing what COVID actually does to a person when they die, how their lungs become infected with pneumonia, how the virus. It's just an instructive video, very, very matter of fact. And then he goes through the numbers, and they're very similar to the numbers that Anthony Fauci was talking about, like 200,000 deaths, 100,000 deaths. And those numbers have some people have said are conservative, by the way.
Yeah.
Some publications have said we'll have 200,000 deaths if we're lucky.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I hope that all of them are wrong, and I really do hope that it just kind of goes away, you know, and goes to the southern hemisphere and maybe comes back in the fall. But I don't know, man. I'm not an epidemiologist like Anthony Fauci is, or like the surgeon I watched on
Yeah,
YouTube.
I'm just saying, you know, if you're doing this, if you're saying, you know, this is going to be here next year too, I mean, basically you're spreading the fear out as far as you possibly can, and I don't see the advantages to doing that right at this moment, unless that's your whole plan, is to fucking spread fear.
Yeah, the military, involving the military right now, like at the CenturyLink where the Seahawks play in Seattle, and like in Central Park in New York, and at like the McCormick Convention Center in Chicago, setting up field hospitals. I mean, I realize it's necessary, but having the Army, I don't know. I think the Army should just set the shit up and then let the civil officials try to run it as much as possible.
Yeah, every time I see one of those Army guys walking around a hospital, it's like, you better not fucking take me there.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm not optimistic. I'm just being realistic. But I don't think spreading fear, like showing photographs of bodies being loaded into refrigerated trucks, is really going to help anybody at all.
No.
There was a strike today. This was from Reuters earlier this evening. It said Instacart and Amazon workers strike.
Wow. Oh yeah, I saw something about that. Yeah.
Yeah, there was something about it in the World Socialist website that it was going to happen, but this was actually tonight after it happened. And it says warehouse delivery and retail gig workers in America went on strike Monday to call attention to safety and wage concerns for people laboring through the coronavirus. Among the strikers were some of the roughly 200,000 workers at U.S. online grocery delivery company Instacart. According to the strike organizers, Gig Works Collective, 15 workers at Amazon went on strike in Staten Island. Not very many people walked off the job on Monday following reports of COVID-19 among the faculty staff. Amazon said later it fired an employee who helped organize the action. Amazon said it fired an employee who helped organize the action for alleged violations of his employment, including leaving a paid quarantine to participate in the demonstration. That's interesting, right? This whole concept of organizing in a time of COVID-19.
Yeah.
And I listened to a video, an interview with Noam Chomsky this weekend. It was on Saturday. And he was talking about how somebody asked him the question, how is social distancing going to affect organizing people to create resistance, like Occupy Wall Street, organizing a strike for a union, you know, organizing for a petition in your city, whatever, you know, the actual act of meeting and talking with other people. And he had an interesting response. Noam Chomsky said that he basically thought that organizing has been smashed in America for a long time before COVID-19, and that the reason he felt that was true, believe it or not, was because of the smartphone. And he said that what he's observed, and he's like 92 years old or something, he says what he's observed is that when he's in a room with like 3 people or 4 people, and he's really in a room, he says, like with 9 people, because the 4 people in the room can't just have a conversation with the other 3 people without constantly talking to some anonymous person on the internet via their phone. So they basically have ADD, and they get distracted very quickly, which makes it really hard to organize. And I thought that was an interesting point that Noam Chomsky made, because it's just going to make it worse, because now we can't even talk with each other in person, but So many people think they can multitask. How many people are like in chat right now who are also listening to music in the background, also following this conversation, also have like a loved one or a pet in the room, in addition to a myriad of other things that are happening around them. So they can't really focus. I think that's just going to become amplified as we are locked in our houses and we're even more dependent on technology. It'll be harder for us to connect with other humans.
Well, yeah, we're locked in our houses for sure. And of course, the cell phones have taken us further apart than ever before. Hey, Chris, I got to take a break, so I'm glad you called. It's good to hear from you. I'll talk to you soon, okay? Stay safe.
Yeah, I'll talk to you later, Mike. Yeah,
Bye.
Good night. Peace.
And that's our buddy Chris from Olympia. And I have this clip about senators, inside training, and how they need to go to prison.
You know who isn't surprised by this? Way a lot of Chinese Americans who fled the totalitarian government of China. If you talk to a lot of people who came here from there, they will tell you they're not surprised. We should have listened to them earlier. Corrupt global health bureaucrats are not the only ones submitting to the will of Beijing. Democratic Congressman Seth Moulton of Massachusetts, remember that name, has withdrawn his support for a resolution condemning China's communist government. Why would he do that? Well, because it would encourage the racist idea that China's dictatorship is worse than the Trump administration.
The resolution has caused division. The substance, which is not xenophobic at all, overshadowed by President Trump's divisive xenophobic attempts to deflect from his administration's abysmal response to this virus. I apologize for that, and I'm withdrawing my support for the resolution for that reason. I've been someone who's spoken in stark terms about racism in America and the dangerousness of Trump, and so the way the resolution has been used is unacceptable to me.
That guy's a total buffoon. Serving with him, a non-buffoon, that's for sure. Matt Gaetz represents the state of Florida, and we're happy to have him on tonight. Congressman, thanks so much for coming on. It almost feels like he's speaking from a different century, talking about xenophobia and racism, like those are the problems with China. I mean, what planet is this guy on?
We saw the Democratic Party overhype the Russia threat. Now many are cozying up to China. Today's Democrats have become the pro-China party. I would suggest that China doesn't need an apology from Seth Moulton or access to bailouts through the economic relief package, which, by the way, many Chinese-controlled companies are going to be able to get. And they certainly don't need another bite at the supply chain. It was just this weekend that the propaganda arm of the Chinese government was bragging that their genetics experts had gotten fast-track approval from our FDA to send over coronavirus kits. So we need to do a lot more to re-domesticate that. I would suggest China needs a reckoning, not an apology.
Well, that's for sure. And we need a reckoning with the people like Madeleine Albright, the former Secretary of State who's gotten rich flacking for China, or Dianne Feinstein, who had a Chinese spy working for her, and by the way, got rich on the market crash. And I want to ask you about that. So the DOJ is now investigating whether Senator Burr, and I hope Senator Feinstein, used confidential reports to conduct insider trading ahead of the stock market crash. What do you think of this? Is this enough?
Social distancing is not going to be a sufficient penalty for Senator Burr in the United States Senate. He needs to be removed as the intelligence chairman. You think about the Gang of Eight, the group of people who review the most select intelligence in the world. That group now includes Adam Schiff, Richard Burr, and Nancy Pelosi, three of the lowest integrity people in the entire United States Congress. So I think Leader McConnell needs to take action here. And hey, maybe in the next relief bill, Americans can choose $1,200 or stock tips from Senator Burr and Senator Feinstein.
Well, so, I mean, I get that, you know, they're partisan imperatives. Actually, I think North Carolina, the governor is required to appoint a Republican to replace him if he leaves anyway.
He is.
But why would McConnell, the top senator, why wouldn't he move to remove Burr from the committee chairmanship?
It's unbelievable to think that the committee chairman with oversight over the FBI is being investigated by the FBI. And before anyone draws a foolish parallel to President Trump, he was elected by the people to drain the swamp whereas Senator Burr is the swamp. He's someone who appears to have used information for personal gain at public expense when he wasn't being honest with the people. And I am shocked that more Republicans are not saying this. Why is every Republican on Capitol Hill not joining me in this call to remove Senator Burr as the intelligence chairman? It makes us all look less credible when we tell the American people that he's the best we've got to review intelligence. It's foolish of us.
He liquidated his entire portfolio. He sold everything and then kept telling people all was well. The economy's strong. It's totally fine. He's a liar. Congressman, thank you so much for coming on tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, time for Dabs in Space. If anybody wants to join me. Woo! Good one. Oh, so nice. Alrighty. So I am down to one clip left. It's about drive-through testing facilities being opened up with the new Trump says that there's a new 5-minute test. You take the test and 5 minutes later you can get the results. That should be a game changer if you combine it with the drive-through testing facilities, right? Those two things in correlation, working together, should help to contain a lot of what's happening. So, anyways, I have that. I'm going to go ahead and play that for you. I have that clip left. I'm going to go ahead and play that clip now.
Few things are more American than drive-through establishments, so it's not surprising that drive-through testing centers for COVID-19 popping up all over the country. One of them is in Washington, D.C., and is devoted to a very special constituency. Correspondent Jillian Turner takes us there.
It's just been an amazing success.
All 50 U.S. states are now home to drive-through coronavirus testing sites. But this one, operated by Children's National Hospital in Washington, D.C., is one of a handful geared towards children and teens. The cutoff age for tests here is 22.
So far in the first few days here, we've had about 200 families come through to have their children tested. We reach in and take a sample so that we can have it tested, so that then they know, these families know that the child either has the virus or doesn't.
In order to get tested here, like other drive-thrus nationwide, patients must have a referral from their primary care physician. It takes about 2 to 3 days to get results, but patients already being treated for other illnesses and employees of the hospital who show symptoms can opt for an expedited test that takes just 90 minutes. Nurse Julia Volchek works in the ER. She's a 28-year medical veteran who's volunteering at this drive-thru because she believes it's the best use of her time and expertise during the pandemic.
They're allowed to come down into the parking lot and then go into one of 3 different tents to be able to get their swab for testing. Really, the management should be the same across the board.
So far, the World Health Organization reports children do not appear to be at higher risk for COVID-19 than adults. While there are known cases in different regions of the world of children and even infants with the virus, adults make up the vast majority of known cases. Dr. Kurt Newman, though, says children still require special attention.
Maybe they're living with an older person, a grandparent. The other thing is some children have chronic diseases and may have immune problems. So those children also need to be treated differently.
One clinician at this hospital tells us they're looking at why children contract this virus, but so far don't seem to get as sick as adults do. They say it's a medical clue that could in turn help to treat adults and eventually produce a vaccine. Brett?
It's a big question. Jillian, thank you. Up next.
All right, so if anybody's wondering, there's my Boo Bear over down by the river. I've been avoiding that background because Craig says that that the backgrounds that have action in them are digitizing everything. So if anybody's wondering, the Boo Bear is over there down by the river where he belongs. And we'll go back to the beautiful Seattle sunset. If anybody wants to call, the number is 805-669-6397. I'm going to give you a couple minutes, and then I am out of here because I played all my clips, and I have taken multiple calls, and I don't want to blather on. I just like to touch bases with you guys and say, you know, this is what I saw that might be of interest to you today, and get some input back from you, you know, how everybody's doing, because I like that. I think it's nice. It actually feels a lot like a community. So I appreciate that very much. We do the show every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. We have 4 more shows at least left this week. We'll be here tomorrow night at same Mox time, same Mox channel, and I hope we see you there because it's always better when you're here. And in fact, it would be completely meaningless without you. Without you, I would just be here talking to myself, and that would be pretty stupid. So thanks for letting me not be pretty stupid. I really appreciate it, you guys. I'll be back tomorrow night, and I hope that we see you then. Same Mox time, same Mox channel. Until then, remember, stay cool. We'll get through it. One of these days, this war is going to end. It's got to end one of these days. It's got to. You must keep the faith. Thanks so much for tuning in. See you guys tomorrow night.
No matter which mouth you feed on a two-headed snake, it still shits the same turd. But lucky for you, you have Mox News. More than 10 years. More than 60,000 videos. Mox News has been filtering the nonsense and illuminating the bullshit from your mainstream media. Turn off your TV and turn on to Mox News. For over a decade, documenting the socio-political events that have etched and carved the pathways that define today's modern mess, Mox News has been providing clarity while faithfully bringing you today's relevant stories 100% commercial-free and subscription-free. And just like Lady Liberty vows to remain free. But at this time, we're asking you for your help, your patronage, and your support to keep the lights on and the videos rolling. For less than 17 cents per day, you can become a basic subscriber, knowing that your donation is truly making a difference that will help continue bringing the news stories that make a difference in your life. Turn on, tune in, and drop a couple dimes today by clicking the link below or visiting moxnews.com and show your support at any level. From a single one-time donation or dedicated monthly subscriber, do it now in less than 2 minutes. All donations are safe, securely processed, and verified using PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover Card. As always, we're sure you'll find something of interest each and every day. This holiday season, give the gift of Mox. moxnews.com.